Kelly Pavlik, James Dominguez. The Punchline, boxing's most interesting talk show, puts you in the ring.
Anthony, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
No, not much. You're on the Punchline. You got your buddy over here, James.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Anthony? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man.
Good. Long time no hear. How's everything going?
Oh, good. You know, things are a little crazy with the world right now, so everybody's on edge around here.
Yeah, over in Cleveland, in your neck of the woods, right?
Yeah. You know, that whole, it's supposed to be a positive time for Cleveland,
Yeah.
taking names out on the basketball floor.
Yeah. So, how's everything going with you?
Good. Just finished up some tournaments, taking a little time off to recuperate, and then back at it again next month.
Yeah. For those who don't know, we're talking with Anthony. I don't know if I'm allowed to say his last name based on his job in the military. Anthony is a soldier in the Army. He's also a sniper. And we kind of wanted to talk about that today and what it takes to do something like that and your mindset. We kind of wanted to touch on that for the fans out there that are interested in that.
I'm definitely interested in that. I like hearing those, hearing behind it. I'm not sure if you're going to get many stories out there, or if you can, or what you're allowed to get out there.
So can you tell us, when you joined the Army and what year you joined and things like that, and what your MOS is, your job in the Army is?
Yeah, absolutely. I joined December of 2004. When I was still a junior, I signed up. I ended up shipping out in August 2005 to Fort Benning, Georgia, to train as infantry. Once I graduated there, I came home for a little bit, and then they shipped me over to Schweinfurt, Germany, as part of 1st Brigade and 1st ID. Once I got to 1st Brigade, they assigned me to 118 Infantry in Con Barracks.
Yeah, I remember that. I happened to be stationed over in Con Barracks myself.
You remember that chow hall was never open, and probably about 6 months after I got there, we ended up deploying to Kuwait, and then eventually we deployed to Ramadi.
That's in Iraq, yeah.
Yeah, back in Iraq. We were expected to do a 12-month tour, but at the time, George Bush initiated the troop surge, so we got extended from 12 to 15 months.
I remember that.
So did you actually finish your senior year, or was you gone for your senior year?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I was still there. I was just, they called it a delayed entry program, but essentially, there's the kids that walk around with the Army T-shirts and Army paraphernalia everywhere and that aren't actually in.
I want to do that.
It's not. We can get you the gear.
My question for being a non-military person is, or never being enlisted in any branch, my question would be, James brought up the fact of you being a sniper. How does that come about? For somebody that's not familiar with the military or any branch of the service, how does, becoming a sniper, how are you approached by that? Do you go and approach somebody to become one? Is it just through a series of tests, maybe, when you're in the field?
They knew he was from Cleveland.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. Yeah, he's close to Youngstown, too.
Yeah.
When you're out in the field, and I'm sure when you're doing drills and stuff, maybe they notice, your shots. How does that take place?
That's actually a pretty good question. So a lot of people assume that that's like a job you can, just enlist as, but it's actually a special duty. A lot of kids, be like, oh, it's a really good shot, so I'm going to join the snipers. They have what they call is their tryouts, but they're known as a sniper selection. And what has to happen is you're going to go through a series of tests. The first one, obviously, off the bat, is the physical. They're gonna put you through some uncomfortable situations, make you crawl through some stuff you don't want to crawl through. There's going to be, the next is how well can you understand the middle relation formula, and that's going to be how you're going to use that to determine distance and several other factors that go into being a sniper.
They call that the dope, don't they?
one up is your information from when you go shooting.
Yeah.
It's DOPE actually stands for data of previous engagement. So
Okay.
when however you're shooting and where your settings are and how you shot is going to be in your DOPE book.
Okay. There you go. See, those are the questions we have that people can understand, because that's what I know a lot of people are curious about what you do. And a lot of people don't realize the mathematics that are involved with what you do.
Yeah, what I was going to say is selection, even if you do well, and you score high in all those portions, there's still that chance that if you're, just kind of an a-hole, they're going to be like, nah, we don't want this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the right personality. They're going to make sure you're not some crazy dude that's out here trying to take the opportunity to hurt somebody and stuff like that. So there's a lot of I guess X factors that go into the selection as well.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. Figuring out like that was another one I was going to get into was there has to be a shitload behind becoming a sniper. Like I was just telling James. I said, you need to know your math, probably geometry, probably geography, weather,
terrain features.
Yeah, what's that called?
Meteorology.
Yeah, meteorology. There's just got to be so much going into that in every aspect of being a sniper.
Yeah, that all is very important. Barometric pressure, elevation, wind, all that stuff's going into effect. You even, how on a hot day you're driving down the road and it looks like there might be some water on the road, or it looks like there's a little mirage there. Well, that you use that to determine the wind direction.
Wow.
It's just a lot that goes into the whole entire thing. People think being a sniper is cooler than it is.
I don't know about that.
A sniper's cooler than it really is.
Well, it's cooler than being a designated marksman. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Then they're just going to give you whatever rifle they find in the back of the arms room and make you feel special. And
well, they gave me an M4 with an ACOG. They gave me an ACOG on an M4.
Oh man, that's how I know you're old, man. Everybody has ACOG now.
I know, right?
I don't got one.
Well, we just had back then. We had the CCO, the 68. Remember, we had the CCO, and then they gave me an ACOG. I thought I was Carlos Halfcock when they gave me an ACOG.
Non-combat units still have 68.
So let me ask you a question. I know this is a little bit weird, but a lot of the fans want to know what goes through your mind when you have somebody, an enemy, or when you have somebody actually in the crosshairs. Not saying that you pull the trigger. I'm not going to ask that question. We don't ask that. But like, what goes through your mind when you have somebody in those crosshairs and you're in charge of life or death at that moment?
Yeah, and honestly, this was something I actually had to do a study for in college while I was a sniper. So, when we do our training, everything in the military is designed to condition you to pull the trigger and take that life if you have to.
Yeah.
Have human-shaped silhouettes. We have even our zero targets to get, to begin to start dialing in your shot group. They're human targets. Everything we do, you probably remember back in 2005, especially for infantry-based training, you didn't say, hey, you could kill. Everything was built to design to help you, be conditioned to pull that trigger. When you're a machine gunner, you just blast the rounds down there, and you're like, if somebody falls, oh yeah, I got him. When you see them through the scope, you're seeing everything. You see their face, you see their expression, you see who they're talking to. It's really, it's not just, I did this in Call of Duty or something. It really, there's a fear that you don't normally have as a soldier.
Yeah.
There's a lot going into this. Like, there's no way people like, oh, I accidentally shot this guy through my magnified, scope and and pulled the trigger with a bolt action rifle. Like there's no accidents then. So everything you do has to be right. So there's that goes into it. Am I justified if I do what I have to do here? Is this the right target? Is there collateral damage? Because I think if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while, but I believe those 7.62 rounds we use in the M24, I think they got about 4 inches of cement penetration. So,
Wow.
If you shoot through and you got some clay house behind you, you could be in a lot of trouble if that goes through and hits somebody else too.
Yeah.
Now, Anthony, with that being said, like another question going into it, after each tour, when you get back or whatever it is you guys do you have to go through tests, psychologist and psychiatric therapy, to see if you were just on a hell of a tour and you've seen a lot of action and you had a lot of kills, do they have to do tests on you to make sure that you're mentally ready to go back into another tour, or conflict? Do you have to do any of that? Yeah, of course. After every deployment, they have it goes into phases. Your deployment phase, then what they call a redeployment phase. Once you're on this redeployment phase, you're going to go through and you're going to talk to doctors. They're going to, they need to find out what all is wrong with you, because when you're living over in Iraq and stuff, the way we dispose of garbage is they burn it.
Oh yeah.
These burn pits, so you're breathing all sorts of toxins. You're exposed to all sorts of diseases. You got to test you for tuberculosis, and they got to mentally screen you. Now, of course, there people do slip through the cracks because they don't want to talk to somebody, and there's that stigmatism you have, especially if you're a guy and you're infantry or a sniper, or even if you're just a regular line Marine, or there's just that mentality that, oh, I don't need help, I'm tough. And a lot of guys, they either don't want to be a target for military behavioral health, or they're just like, I don't want to be the guy that asks for help, and I'm afraid if I do get help, they'll take me away from my guys, my company.
I said, back when I was in, which I got out 2012, if you went to get help like that, it was a lot of times it was held against you and used against you in your career. Your career was basically over if you went and asked for help.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not as prevalent today, but there's some doors and opportunities that'll close to you if you get, that kind of help.
That's what made it hard for some of us. One day you're a platoon sergeant, the next day you're in publications office, you know what I mean? And not allowed to have a weapon anymore because you told me you have bad dreams,
Could that affect your what do you call that? Your honorable discharge, or your pension? Like if you go in and you don't ask for the help, say you got a lot of shit going on in your head from the previous tour, or deployment, and you're all screwed up, but you go in Tony Tough Nuts and you're like, I'm fine, and they keep letting you do that. But say you do have some permanent health problems, it's going to last you the rest of your life. Would you still be able to fall under that, or do they do a series of tests after you're out of the service, and you go back and say, I have
PTSD?
Yeah, PTSD. Can they do another evaluation on you after you're out to see if you get that, so you're able to collect the the pension and everything else that comes with it? Yeah,
of course. There's always the Veterans Affairs, or the VA, Veterans Administration. They're gonna offer you help, and they do reevaluations, but it's much harder, and care is significantly delayed once you're out.
Oh yeah.
You see where the conflict is. It's like, do I get the help and not possibly risk my career, or do I wait to get out and then risk someone not believing me? So it's kind of a lose-lose situation. A lot of people I know, including some of my family that is also they don't want to go get that help because they'll think that someone, there's always people that abuse the system and, try to get away with something extra.
True.
I don't want to see people leeching off the system.
Hey, Anthony, have you ever noticed something? If you ever go to the VA, nobody in there were cooks or truck drivers or maintenance. They were all special forces.
No, has ever been to VA was in a conflict. If they were in Vietnam, they were right in the middle. And there's no one in the VA ever just had
Normal job, right?
Nobody was an electrician on a submarine.
Or
any action.
Yeah, or they asked me, I'll tell them I'm a space shuttle. I was a door gunner on the space shuttle.
Yeah, just crazy stories.
Really, you want to go there and get entertained? I mean, that is the ultimate site to be entertained. Everybody's a Navy SEAL.
Where's that at?
The VA. They have one right in Youngstown.
Yeah.
But also, I wanted to talk to you about. A lot of people would be interested to know that you're a fighter. You boxed. You were a post champion in Schweinfurt, and you do MMA as well. And you were ranked as high as 6th or 8th.
I was number 10 ranked.
Okay.
For the amateur light heavyweight for Ohio. Yeah, I actually also coached the Garrison team for boxing when I was over in Germany in 2011.
At the same post I was, right?
Yeah.
I want to ask you a question. All those trophies in there for there was 30 trophies in there. Can you tell me the fighter that won all those trophies?
Yeah, I think I know him. He's kind of a troublemaker, though. I don't know if he Army wants to recognize that kind of absolute debauchery that comes with this young man trophy.
Well, I could tell you who won it. I could tell you how he is.
No, I was just wondering. Who won all those trophies in there? Who beat Ray Mercer's amateur record?
Some asshole.
Who beat Ray Mercer's amateur record?
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy.
So, what do you have coming up on the horizon for your MMA fight for your next? I know you're a coach too. I know you have your own little school. You have your own school going on, which is pretty well respected in Colorado.
Yeah, I'm actually right now. I'm trying to get work a little closer with the Fight House in the combative school.
Okay.
I actually just recently I was under Dan Siegel at
He's a good man. That's a good man right there.
Yeah, he's can't say enough good things about the guy.
No, I can't either. I can't.
A funny story is I was actually when I came through Ohio the time before last, I somehow caught pneumonia while I was staying at his house, and he ended up staying in the ER with me for 2 days almost.
Wow.
Not many people that are coaches would do that for you.
True.
He's a great friend and definitely a good guy.
Yeah, he's been looking forward to meeting Kelly for a long time. Dan, so when Kelly comes down, have him come out and teach a class. We will.
I wouldn't mind that at all.
A lot of people, it's an honor to really have you on here, Anthony, and to talk to you. And I know I want to thank you for everything you do, just in your service. And I also want to thank you everything you do as a friend, too. A lot of people don't know we were really close friends, We've been friends for years. So I want to thank you for everything. And just stay safe.
Yeah, Anthony, it was honestly a joy to have you on. And, if there's anything if we have questions or any other time we want you on the show, I hope you be willing to come on.
Yeah, guys, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me. And I'll try to shoot you guys a link. So if any of your listeners want to kind of see what those sniper selections / tryouts look like when we were getting ready to go, I have some videos up on YouTube of what we had to go through to come do that. So if I'll send you guys that link, and if you guys want to share it on the page or whatever, and they can check it out.
Oh, that's because awesome. I know I want to watch it.
Yeah, I want to watch them too. Just so I have something to tell at the VA.
All right, Ant. Well, no problem. We'll be in touch.
All right, guys. You have a good one.
And there you have it. We just brought on a U.S. Army sniper. I think it was great having him on.
It is, and it's always interesting to hear from guys that have been, especially for me. I mean, I'm sure to a point with you, but you've already you've seen your tours and you've been in the action, so you definitely have a better understanding, and that's why I appreciate you letting me ask some of these questions.
Oh, yeah.
That, like I said before, I'm not a military guy.
Well, I couldn't tell you anything about sniping either. That's what I did,
so,
I was learning just like you were.
Yeah, it was interesting on your part too. But yeah, and I was thinking, when I went to the question, again, I don't have any history or experience or anything in that. But I have automatically, from watching the movies and stuff like that, my family, is a big military family. And my friend, a good friend of mine who's actually deployed right now. But you watch them, and it's always interesting. You see from the standpoint of a movie, which I would say is still nothing compared to what it's like actually being there in real life. But you get an idea. And, so when I said, when I asked him the question at first, I don't know. But I could tell you from being a sniper, I mean, I couldn't imagine a training for that either. I mean, the shit that you have to know and the things that you have to do and the training physically, mentally, everything else that goes with it. I mean, I'm sure them guys are every bit like a SEAL or any other special force. I mean, they got to, how long they got to stay up to wait for the right person to come that they're looking for.
3 to 4 days sometimes.
Yeah, the situation, like he said, some of the things they had to crawl through just in basic training. For a sniper, but some of the in real life or in combat, what they have to go through, and then again on how you have to know the wind, the weather, the precipitation, moisture, everything else that's going on.
And a lot of people don't realize in Iraq when you do fire a round, the rounds don't travel as far. They drop because the air pressure is heavier, so they have to account for that because your rounds do like a normal. You would fire a 200-meter shot, which is rare. That's a far shot. Most of your fighting's done 50 to 100 meters away.
Yeah.
But if you do, you can actually see your round fall. And so you have to account for that.
And it's not like when you're in a situation when you're in a moment and you shoot that gun and go, oh, that's just a warm up. When you're a sniper, like, all right, that dropped a little shorter than I expected. Let's move it to here. You know what I mean? You don't have that, so that first shot is everything. And
they have to account for that. They don't have the opportunity. We have to adjust. They have to actually have that on hand.
Yep. So it's made us a special gift and special people that do that.
Well, he's an educated guy. I know he went to University of Maryland. Basically, close to as Ivy League as you're going to get in that area. So, I mean, he's a smart guy, and I was just happy to have him on. Yeah,
it was really, like I said, really interesting. Really was.
All right, and let's take a break. What do you think?
Sounds good in the hood. Hey, you're here listening to the Punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez, and we got a very good guest on right now, Matt Godfrey, who is a former professional fighter and now doing powerlifting, which is kind of the routine that I'm getting into. So this is going to be very interesting for me. So Matt, how you doing?
Oh, great, guys. I'm great.
And Matt, you fought at what? Was it light heavyweight or cruiserweight?
Oh, I fought at cruiserweight.
Or both?
No, just cruiserweight. I had one fight at heavyweight in my last fight, but that's because I couldn't make the 200-pound limit.
Cool, man. So what do you got going on? What are you getting into now?
Well, right now I just finished off a power training block that went for 12 weeks just to try to get my max numbers up, and I was able to get them all up in all three lifts by about 10 or 15 pounds, so I'm happy with that. But right now I'm going to probably have to start scaling it back and start training for a fitness competition I want to do in November.
Man, you're staying busy and all that, huh?
Yeah, I have to because I get fat too easy, man. So I got to keep myself in the gym all the time.
I know how that is, brother. Trust me.
Yeah, I've been doing that powerlifting. Also, I'm not doing it fully as hard or competing. I'm doing it, but I'm not doing it to compete. And I had a hard time. From when I was boxing, I lifted, and I had an idea of how to get big and what I wanted to do. And I was putting size on quick doing my routine, man. But genetically, I had a bird chest. And, just one of them ones like where I'm always going to have to work harder on the chest and then have long arms and everything else. But now, the other day I just missed, my max at 300. And I'm working with a former world champion powerlifter. And, we're making gains on it. But, the training part of it, is different than what I was used to, like what we're kind of doing now to find when I jump too much weight into, doing the benching, I can't jump more than 20 pounds going up. It seems like the more I lift, usually like where some people hurry up and try to climb up to see their max so they're not wore out or tired, I actually get stronger. Like the other day we were going up to the 300 and I got to the 275 and I struggled with it on the first setup. And previously before that I was at 250. And so we went all the way up 275. Then we started back over down to 240 or 245. And I did that 4 times and then went back up to 250. And then that second time after all those reps and going up, it was easier. The 275 went up 3 times or 2 times easy. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like if I go up too many increments, it's like my head's telling my body that it's not ready for that. But I was curious. You do something kind of like that when you're going for your PR?
Yeah, it's weird. Everybody's body reacts different. Like I try to make like 50-pound jumps when I'm moving up. You know what I mean?
Okay.
As I'm working up into, like I say, if I'm on the bench, I try to make 50-pound jumps as I'm working up into the 400s. But one of the things I noticed too is that on my my dynamic day, when I'm taking about 50% of my 1 rep max, and I'm doing that speed reps, when I'm done with those 10 sets of 3 or 8 sets of 3, I actually feel a lot stronger than I would as if I was warming up in the 50-pound increments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I have to try to talk myself out of not going heavy that day because that day is supposed to be my day.
Yeah, and I get like that too. My guy tells me, "No, just wait." No,
you shouldn't be. In Ohio, you shouldn't be too far from Louis Simmons.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Where is he at in Ohio?
Oh man, Louis Simmons. He's probably got one of the best powerlifting gyms in the whole East Coast or the whole Midwest at least. He's out in Ohio. I forget which city he's in.
Columbus. He's in Columbus.
Oh, Columbus. Yeah. Columbus.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a ways from you, but I think as you progress in this, I mean that's somebody you should definitely hook up. You know what I mean? With your name and his name, you know what I mean? You guys should definitely link up sometime in the future.
Yeah, I think he runs West Side Barbell. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep.
Okay.
I know that gym pretty well. One of my fighters that I worked with, Matt Brown, he trained there at West Side.
Yeah. Louis got a great gym over there, and he'd be great for you to link up with as you progress into this, you know?
Yeah, and Matt, I got a question for you since I kind of have an idea of it. Now that you're doing the powerlifting and still are, but now you're getting into the fitness part of it, you said.
Yeah.
Man, what's the transformation on dieting and everything else now that goes into it,
Well, I'll tell you what, and you'll be able to attest to this too, that lifting weights, going into the gym and lifting weights and doing the little bit of cardio that you have to do to keep yourself in shape is far easier than ever training for a world title fight. There's nothing like for a 12-round fight. There's no other training to compare to that. So with that part was very easy. Going into the gym for an hour and a half, 2 hours of lifting and doing a little bit of slow, steady state cardio I had to do or whatever, that was nothing. It was just being able to fit in all the meals every day when you're trying to prepare for a competition. It's unbelievable that I learned all this now, but I should have been eating a lot more when I was training before. I eat way more now than I ever did.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. My only problem is I'm getting too big of a gut now. Yeah, because I feel like when I get done with the good lift, that I gotta, eat, and I gotta have the right proteins, and a lot of times.
Listen, absolutely. If you're training for strength, you want to get in as many calories as you can. I have people that, ask me questions all the time. And they're like, so what do you eat? Like, how do you get bigger? Like, how do you get stronger? And like, nobody believes me, but I tell the truth. I say, when I'm done with a heavy day, if I got a heavy squat session, I'll go eat a fucking large Pizza Fest pizza or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A 3 meats pizza, and I get all those calories in. You know what I mean? And then I'll taper it for the day. But pre-workout and post-workout are probably where I get most of my calories in because I really need them.
Yeah, my problem is being a fighter and knowing dieting too. There's nothing wrong with that if you're eating big after a lift or, before you go, because even when you're lifting like that, you're still burning a shitload of calories when you're doing that. Yeah, my problem is, it's the 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, the pepperoni pockets and a can of pop, and then going to sleep like 45 minutes after that. And I know when I'm doing it, I'm going, this shit ain't going to my muscles. This shit's going.
No, it's not, you know what? One of the things I've learned too over the years is try not to drink my calories. I try to get all my calories in through food. Yeah. Unless I'm having I'm in a bind, I'm in a rush, and I have like a post workout protein shake or something. I'll slam a bunch of peanut butter and bananas and oatmeal and shit in it for the calories. Yeah. Other than I try not to drink my calories. I try to get it all from food. You'll save yourself a lot better that way. Yeah, you'll be able to put on more thighs that way. You'll be able to get some of the fat off. It's a mental.
Yeah, and there's just so much that goes into it. And like I said, so much more to me. Like if I get a morning one in, something that I've been starting to do now is, I do the drug-free training and so like my thing is to find natural testosterone boosters. So I talk to my doctor buddies, I Google, and, so the first thing I do in the morning is I eat oatmeal, eggs, and then I'll put, the things that are natural testosterone boosters, and I stink like shit when I go to the gym. I'll put a whole thing of garlic clove in there. I'll put the organic olive oil, beets, things like that, Brazil nuts.
Get all the fucking calories you can in pre and post. You know what I mean? That's important.
Yeah. Now, for the fitness competition that you're getting yourself into, did you have to change your entire training regimen too?
Yeah, because when you're training for powerlifting, you're training to only get stronger at big 3 lifts. Yeah. So you only do exercises that you only use those exercises to try to get yourself stronger. You know what I mean? You're not really doing many rope pull downs and shit like that when you're training for strength, Yeah. So, now my training is going to be a little different. You know what I mean? It'll be a little more high rep. You know what I mean? A little more burning out, go training to failure kind of.
Exactly. And I'm sure you probably didn't hit a lot of biceps and things like that when you're doing the powerlifting, because for the bench and, you don't want the tight biceps, but.
The thing is, I don't train biceps directly. I train biceps from doing any kind of pulling movements. When you're deadlifting heavy, believe it or not, it's pulling on your biceps, it's pulling on your traps, it's pulling on everything. You know what I mean? So you get bicep work in even when you're deadlifting. Whenever you're doing heavy cable pull downs or heavy cable rows or heavy chin ups, you know what I mean? Your biceps are involved a lot.
Exactly.
You really don't need to hit them directly. You look at a lot of some of the best powerlifters in the world, their arms are huge and they don't hit their biceps directly, Exactly. But now that I'm trying to I'll try to put a complete physique together. I'll start to hit biceps more, a little bit more, because my arms lag. My arms are a little smaller for my body than they should be.
Yeah.
I got a question, Matt. Hi, I'm James. I'm Kelly's co-host. I just let you guys have at it because I don't know what you guys are talking about. No, but I know you have a busy schedule and you're out and about. You're always busy doing meetings and things like that, because I know you got businesses going on the side. How do you find time to get a workout in? When you're in the hotel or when you're at a meeting and your workout comes first. How do you find time to get that in, to fit that into your schedule?
Well, for me, it's easy because most of my work is done in the afternoon and the evenings.
Okay.
I do. I work for the city in the recreation department, so I work with kids after school. I do personal training, and most of that happens on the weekend or later on in the afternoon. Some morning, but not many. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty open from, just say 7 a.m., 8 a.m. after I drop my kid off at school to 2 in the afternoon. 2 in the afternoon, I can take as much time as I need in the gym.
Yeah, because I worked as a trainer for a couple of years too, and I remember people asking me, how do I fit this workout in with, all these different activities and things I have, and I just figured that'd be a great question from somebody like you to answer. If you can fit it in your busy day, Miss Housewife or Mr. House Husband or whoever, they can find time to fit it in their schedule if you can fit it in your busy schedule.
Absolutely. I work between 60 and 70 hours every week.
Wow.
And I still have time to get all my work in the morning. I still have time to, you know what I mean, prepare a couple of meals for me for while I'm at work later on in the day. You know what I mean? It's getting better at time management. The older the more you get used to your schedule, you get better at time management.
Yeah, Matt, and I hope you can vouch for this, but in my personal opinion, I think there's just a lot of old school things that people say, when it comes to lifting or powerlifting. Like, what James asked you is kind of how it falls into me with my schedule. So I lift, I don't have a certain time that I go lift. Mine's kind of like when I could get there, I go. And a lot of times it's 9 o'clock at night till, I don't get home till 1:30, quarter to 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to miss it. But when people are like, well, if you're tired, if you're ready to go to sleep or something like that, that's not good to go work out. It's doing no good. And I don't believe that. I believe anytime you're working out, exactly, you're putting it in the bank. That's money in the bank right there when you're doing that.
Yeah. When I hear people say that, this is the thing you always hear. Well, I'll start on Monday, right?
Yeah.
It'll be Tuesday, and someone say, "Well, I'll start on Monday." And I tell people this all the time. This is a true story. I mean, everybody's seen it. Floyd Mayweather, right? Floyd Mayweather was doing Dancing with the Stars, right? And on HBO 24/7, when he was done filming the show at 2:30 in the morning, he hopped on a plane, flew to Vegas, drove straight from the airport and went straight to the gym at 3 in the fucking morning.
That's true.
And he worked out for 3 fucking hours, and he had his whole team waiting there for him. Anybody in their right mind could have waited to 8 in the morning.
Exactly.
But when you have that mindset where you really, really want it, time isn't going to stop you. Fuck sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that goes back to the thing, too, that, it's hard for me. Sometimes when I give my body a break after, like, say, a month of hitting it hard or a month and a half of hitting it hard and I take a couple of days off, I do go back a little rejuvenated. But at the same time, everybody's like, oh, well, you can't work that muscle. You did it a day ago or 2 days ago. My thing is, you look at the people that your jailhouse people, that are locked up.
Yeah.
And look how big they are. Them guys lift every day, no breaks, and when they're not lifting, they're in their cell doing pull-ups, dips, and look at the side, look how big they get, and they don't have the supplements.
Yeah,
they don't have
all. All of that is a myth. I did a squat program, a Soviet squat program that had me squatting 4 days a week. And they weren't light days, man. They were heavy as fuck. And after those 12 months, I put like 2 inches on my legs, and my squat went up over 100 pounds.
Wow.
And you know what I mean? And like when people say you can't do this, more than twice a week, they have no idea what they're fucking talking about.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If that's the case, Kelly, then you wouldn't have been able to do road work for a fight more than once or twice a week, right?
Exactly.
Your legs would have been too dead.
Or I could go to the gym Monday through Friday, or even Monday through Saturday, because I'm using all the same back muscles and shoulder muscles.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Your body adapts to it. You get better at it. You'll grow. You'll be fine.
Exactly. So speaking of that, I'm sorry, James. I was going to hop into another thing, getting into it. So, do you miss the boxing at all and the workout routines of the fight career?
I don't. You know what it is? I really don't miss fighting. You know what I mean? Because of you know how it is with everything that goes on behind the scenes and everything. I don't miss that. I do miss the training. I miss the sparring. I miss all that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And sometimes I'll get in there and do it, but I forget I'm not in the shape I be in, so it isn't fun anymore. So it'll probably be in maybe another month or two when I lose some weight. You know what I mean? I'll be able to get back in there and get sparring again. But as far as fighting and stuff like that, it was a job. You know, when we were younger, it was fun. I loved sparring when I was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was younger, I love going to tournaments. But when you get older, it becomes a business. It becomes work, and all the fun is just taken out of it.
Yeah, I would imagine doing the fitness now that you're going into, some of that boxing training would actually be ideal for that, though, right now, as far as the stretching of all the different muscles and muscles that are hard to hit when you're doing a powerlifting or any type of lifting. I noticed, I tell a lot of people, if you want to get ripped up and hit muscles that you didn't know you have, hitting the pads, boxing, especially if you're not used to it or never done it, is a heck of a thing too.
Yeah, but boxing's unlike anything that you could ever do. You know what I mean? And while you're in shape, you know what I mean. When you're in boxing shape, you kind of take it for granted. You don't realize how much you work to get there. It's until you get out of shape and then you get back in the gym and try to hit the bag or try to hit the pads or something where you realize, fuck, like I was in great shape. Like I can't believe I messed this up.
Tell me about it. I averaged 99 punches a round, almost 80 some punches as a middleweight. I got stronger as the fight went on, and then a month ago I went and did 2 rounds on the bag, and I think I puked up every fucking thing I ate for lunch.
Exactly. I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, same things happened to me a few times. You know, it's crazy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But like, now after like, you know, boxing for over 20 years and like the grueling workouts, I loved all that. And then when it was time, I did one fitness competition back in 2015, and like the cardio that I had to do for it was laughable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like my long day would be a Saturday. It'd be an hour of cardio, but it was walking on an incline at 3 miles an hour. Like, what the fuck? That was nothing to me. You know what I mean? I loved it. It was a piece of cake. You know, my hardest cardio was probably 15 or 20 minutes of hit cardio where I had to do sprints, and that was it. Usually with boxing, that's a fucking warm-up. You know?
Yeah, mine was a 7-hour a day job. You know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It's crazy. That helped me a lot. You know what I mean. Being able to put some of that into the bodybuilding, to the weightlifting, it was easy to me because I worked so hard as a fighter.
And you know, people say that muscle memory, which is a big thing, and I had never really, in all the years, never understood it. I think maybe when I was just mentioning earlier about how I got stronger, the more as where people will start petering out. After so many reps, I was getting stronger, and that could possibly be the muscle memory from all the years of just exerting every muscle in your body. And like I said before, muscles that you hardly ever use until you start boxing. You know.
Absolutely. See, tired to you and tired to the normal person are two totally different things. Some people start to get a little winded and they fucking stop, whereas we're taught as fighters, you don't fucking stop when you get tired. You keep pushing. You push harder. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I've had friends that I've worked that have come to the gym and we lifted together and they called me crazy because they're like, you do way too much. And I'm like, no, man, I do it till I'm fucking worn out. I don't want to leave the gym fresh, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, that was another good, I'm glad you brought that up, see, because these are things that are all helping me. So I'm kind of like cheating here because, you know, I'm the host of the show and I'm just getting my feet wet in this lifting heavy. But some of these things that you're saying is actually helping me. So I'm going to have to keep asking questions for the fans, but mainly for me. But
yeah, it could be anywhere. What helps us succeed, you know what I mean, in weightlifting and because the people who we're competing against, or the normal people who do it, never had to work the way we had to.
No, and
they don't know what real pain is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing that I have to understand when I do it. First of all, to get the gains that I want to get, but coming from, you know, my past and how I train, like when I lift, most of the time that I lift, I got to go to the point, and you're supposed to when you're powerlifting if you want to get the gains, but like I get pissed off. My shitty days are when I go to the gym and I'll put it in and I'll go to as hard as I did last time because I know I only got the time to just maintain. But usually when I work out, every lift is to the point of where I can't actually do it no more because, you know, that's the only way that you're expanding the muscle fibers and getting that blood pumping even more. And that's how you get bigger is you try to go as hard as you did. Say you're doing chest, your bench day. Well, you want to go maybe 5 pounds or 10 pounds more and try to equal that rep or to the point of failure every time. And maybe some different things that you did that you didn't do the week before, and try to mix the workout up to shock, you know, the muscles and body. But sometimes for me, you know, I find it's hard to do that. So I mainly got to go there and try in that period of time that I got available to try to burn myself out and do some other type of work to just maintain what I did, you know, when I worked my ass off real hard. And, you know, so every time you lift, you know, I hear them say, a lot of power lifters, like, yeah, when you go to the gym, you know, and you got the time, you try to go as hard as you can and harder than you did the last time. and mix it up too. You know, when you keep on the same routines, your muscles kind of get used to that too. You know, so you always
you got to mix it up. Yeah. You want to earn that dirty ass meal you're gonna eat after you work. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If you go in there and half-assed and then go eat a 3-meat pizza, man, you're just failing yourself. Earn that shit. Work your ass off for it. You know, like when I'm not powerlifting training, when I'm just training to maintain size or try to get size, I use my first exercise as that'll be my heavy exercise. So if I'm gonna do chest, I'll bench real heavy for chest. I'll work up to a weight that I can only get 3 or 4 reps. I'll do a couple sets with that, and then after that, every other exercise I do to failure. I burn out on everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to earn that fucking like right now. I got a stuffed fucking pepperoni and fucking onion pizza in there waiting for me because I did chest earlier and I burned the fuck out.
Well, you deserve
know what I mean?
Now, do you got a gut at all?
I have the powerlifter's gut. I have the gut where you can see my abs on top of it.
Ah, okay. Because I'm jealous of it right now, man. You're saying all this shit, and I'm over here with my, I got some size on my chest now, but my belly, I finally get size on my chest, right? And I got this damn belly that sticks out farther in my chest, and I'm, a little frustrated with that.
It's the weirdest thing, but you know what? When I fought, I boxed for over 20 some odd years, and I never had abs.
I got a question, Matt. Hey, are you a proponent of prepackaging your meals, or do you just kind of eat as you go?
I mean, if you have the time to do it, that's awesome. You know what I mean? For me, I really don't need to because I can get my first 3 meals in before I take off to work.
All right.
And then I only need to take 2 meals with me to work.
Okay.
You know? So I'm lucky. I'm lucky in that sense because of my schedule. So I understand some people go to work 7 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon or 8 to 4 or something, and they need to pack up meals and everything. It's good for convenience if you can afford it. If you have time to do it, it's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of this comes into play on that too. Is depending on what you do throughout the day, also for your job. Like you, Matt, you're stay active though. The amount of calories that you're burning a day before you even get to the gym, is probably more than the average person. So
I'm moving on a lot.
Yeah, so you could afford to, your body actually for what you're looking to get. You could eat that, and eat a good amount. It'll be hard for somebody who sits at a desk, 8 hours a day to, they're going to get strong and they're going to be big when they go hit the gym hard, but they're going to get sloppy, Yeah,
it's tough, because their metabolism's not firing on a regular basis, you know what I mean? Constantly. Yeah. You need to constantly keep that going, you know what I mean? You light that fire in the morning and you just keep throwing a brick, you keep throwing a log on it every few hours.
Yeah, just like them swimmers. I mean, you look at a guy like Michael Phelps takes in double the calories that I take in.
What? 15,000, 20,000 a day.
It's amazing. J.J. Watt for the Houston Texans taking about 7,000 a day.
Yeah, well, exactly. Look at Manny Pacquiao, 13,000.
That's you know what? But you need that when you're running all out. When you're running a 5 miler, but I'm not saying like a 10-minute mile 5 miler. When you're running fucking 5 miles at a 7-minute clip, 6:30 clip, you need those calories. Yeah,
because then actually, and it's a catch-22 kind of with that too. When you overdo work your muscles and you're not getting the right nutrients in there, actually all that working out goes for naught, and now you're actually damaging muscles.
Yeah, because your body will start to eat away at muscle for energy, and that's one of the big problems I had. When I fought, when I was fighting at 200, I would be, 230 between fights, and then I would take in like 1,500 calories a day, and I would kill myself on the road. I would kill myself in the gym, and I would think that I was gonna get ripped. And all I did was go from a 230-pound fat guy to a 200-pound, just about as fat guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because my body just ate away at the muscle.
Exactly. Like they say, you want to put. When you're trying to be a fit, weight, you want to, when you're working out, you want to burn the fats, you want to burn the carbohydrates, and the last thing that you actually want to touch is the proteins, for the muscles. So you have to, that's why I love boxing, because it was kind of a science to knowing how your body works and the amount of food you're putting in and working out. And then the fun part came, well, it wasn't fun, but it was fun, doing the science part of it. When you start coming down in training and you're coming down to food, but you still have to have enough because you're going to have 2 days of drying out where you're still working. So that's another thing about boxing that people didn't quite understand. They still don't. They know, like, oh yeah, you got to lose weight, but they don't know the process behind it.
Exactly. And a big mistake I made, and I think a lot of fighters do too, is when it's time to lose weight, they'll go run an 8-miler and then they'll fucking take in a very minimal amount of calories, which is almost counterproductive because it's going to start eating away at muscle.
Exactly.
And that's what I used to. I was a good runner even when I was 210, 200 pounds. I could run 8-10 miles like without a problem, But the problem was I wasn't getting the right kind of energy into me because I wasn't taking enough calories.
Yeah, definitely.
I obviously eat way more now than I did then, and it's the opposite. I should have been eating a lot more then,
Exactly.
So, Matt, I got a question for you. It's a little bit off the topic of powerlifting, but I wanted to get your opinion on it because obviously you were a pretty successful pro. What is your feeling right now on the cruiserweight division? How do you feel about it?
Well, it's all in Europe right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody, it's all in Europe. All the money's in Europe. All the talent is in Europe. So, I mean, there's nothing going on here. And the cruiserweight division is one of those divisions where, if you think about it, the most athletic men in the world are between 175 and 200 pounds.
Yeah.
Look at the Olympic sprinters, right?
Yeah.
Look at the decathletes, the triathletes. All those guys are between 175, 200 pounds. Those are the most athletic men in the world. Now, the reason why there aren't that many here in the United States is because we're lazy and we have too many vices. Think about it.
Yeah.
We're lazy. We have too many vices. You can weigh 190 pounds, or you can weigh 190 pounds.
Or most of them guys between that weight are playing football,
Yeah. And what the problem is, people eat themselves to over 200 pounds, and then they just say, "Fuck it, I'll fight heavyweight. I don't want to lose the weight." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So over there, they're very disciplined with when it comes to diet and not overdoing it and shit like that. And it's there's a lot of talent there.
Well, I think it's the whole mentality of Europe. Europe stays pretty small because they don't believe they believe in eating till you're satisfied, not till you're comfortable.
And I believe that every weight class in boxing here very soon, as we're starting to see, is going to be ran by
Ukrainians, Russians.
Yeah, overpopulated with Eastern Europeans, Ukrainians, Russians.
Yeah.
Did you just see? What did you think about the Usyk and Hunter fight, Matt?
I didn't see it, but I heard the champion was horrible.
We actually went. Me and Kelly were actually at the fight. We were at the media desk, and it was amazing. I mean, and I didn't. I'm one of those ones. Cruiserweight. I was like, it's kind of baby heavyweight. But I'll tell you what, it was the most action-packed fight of the night.
Yeah, they threw a lot of punches for that weight. So
yeah. Well, it was funny. I didn't even know the fight was happening because I don't stay too much in the loop as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I got like a million text messages. Matter of fact, Andre Durrell, the former 168-pound champion, was the first person to text me. It was like, "Fuck, if you were still fighting, you'd be killing these guys." And I'm like, I don't have it in me anymore,
I mean, what do you see a guy with 12 fights get $1 million purse? You know what I mean? That was that night.
Yeah, man, that eats me up.
yeah, I imagine it would.
Back
to that could be a little sad thing. You got to go back to the gym and you sit down, you fucking put up to 400 fucking pounds. You're like, I got nothing for that.
I wish I lived in Europe.
Yeah. Those guys don't live in Europe. They live in Oxnard now. They all moved there. They got little houses in Oxnard.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, but they still got European fucking promoters who got real money.
Yeah, sure.
Our dollar is shit compared to their fucking euro and the pound.
Yeah.
Whenever I used to get calls to go over there and to spar and shit like that. You know what I mean? I would come up with an outrageous U.S. number because I didn't feel like going, and they'd say, they'd be like, no problem. They had to pay it in dollars. They didn't give a shit. It's like monopoly money to them.
It is. I lived in Germany for a few years, and I'll tell you what, I would take my military pay, cash it all in, and go get German marks. I had a fortune. I had 3 times the pay.
Yeah.
That was before the euro. I had 3 times the pay that I actually earned.
Yeah, whenever they would call me, they're like, "Oh, could you come for 2 weeks?" I'm like, "Yep, $4,000." They're like, "Yeah, no problem." And I'm like, "Holy shit!" They said yeah to that. What? No?
Well, look at guys like Rudy Hernandez, the trainer from California. He does a lot of work with the Russians. He does the same thing. He prices himself out on purpose so he don't have to go. He tells the Russians, they say, "Can you come out and do a conference for 2 weeks?" And he goes, "Yeah, $50,000." They say done. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
What?
And they bite. It's amazing, you know.
I gotta find me a gig over in Europe.
You can get lucky, man. A lot of it is location. You know what I mean? There's a kid I fought in the pros, Sean George. He only ended up with like 15, 16 fights to end with.
Okay.
But he lives in New York City, and he ends up meeting someone from China at Gleason's gym. The person from China happened to be close with the Olympic boxing in China. They fucking flew him out to train them.
Wow.
And he still works with a lot of the Chinese out in China, and he makes a ton of money. And here I am busting my ass.
Well, you know, I see that also. I see that you fought Ernest Mateen. Rest in peace. It was good. Ernest Mateen was a good guy, and I actually saw your box rec that you fought him.
Yeah.
I met him back in my amateur days.
Yeah, it's funny. He was a good guy. He actually, at the time I fought him, but my trainer I had at the time, John Scully, he actually fought and beat John Scully.
Oh, I know John real well. We go back and forth all the time. John's a good dude.
Yeah, so I used to bust John's balls when he would tell me to do something. After that fight, he would, ask me to do a certain thing in the gym, and I'm like, dude, I knocked out the guy that knocked you out. I'm not doing that shit.
I'm sure John had some kind of a.
Yeah.
Well, I was older, or I was sick that day.
Yeah. He's always sick when he loses.
Yeah. John's or injured.
John was always hurt.
I tell John and all them. I said, all you motherfuckers, all you guys do is live in the past. You guys are stuck in the '80s still, all of them.
Listen, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something right now, and Kelly can attest to this. Nobody walks into the ring 100%.
Nobody, I agree.
When you're training, you're kicking yourself in the ass for 2-3 months straight. You don't think anything's gonna happen? Something's gonna fucking break. Something's gonna hurt. You know? Nobody goes into the ring 100%.
I don't think I came in more than 75.
And you bring that up, but and there's so many different things that happen just other than that. I mean, you to the average person to sit down and like really explain would take 20 minutes. I mean, like you said, just aches and pains and dinks and bangs on the body parts. And then even beside that, when you make weight and you really, especially like towards the end of my career or when I was fighting at middleweight, making 160, how you dehydrate and the nutrients that you cut out of your diet. And people say, then you go, oh yeah, well you have like a whole day to try to regain that. Look, you could have 48 hours, 3 days is not enough time to recoup and to rehydrate. Your body's still not going to be the same after what you do to even make weight, let alone fight.
No, you're exactly right. I've had some pretty scary some pretty scary times, after making weight. Whereas I couldn't even hold food down for 12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. I would lose so much weight that when I did try to eat, my body would just reject it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can't.
Scary feeling, Yeah. Knowing in 24 hours you got to get in there and fight somebody.
Yep. Yeah, especially what is that? 36 minutes that you have to go fight too.
Exactly.
Just you.
I don't know about you. I never went longer than 9.
Yeah, well, the 9 minutes. Yeah, I had to go 36 minutes, and that was the scary part. But
I wish they all ended early, but they don't.
Yeah. Well, hey, Matt, due to time constraints, we are going to have to let you go. But hey, man, awesome show, and I'd like to stay in touch with you more often, man.
Yeah, yes, please do that. I mean, you can find me anywhere on Facebook or Instagram, or you have my number now. You can shoot me a text anytime you got a question.
Yeah, man, I'll send you a request on Facebook and whatnot. So
appreciate it, champ.
Hey, man, thanks again for coming on. Really, it was an honor.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. It was an honor too.
No problem.
I really enjoyed it.
Thanks talking to you guys.
You're welcome back anytime.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
And that was Matt Godfrey, who we just talked to, man, I tell you what, but that was a great interview for me. That helped me out a lot. So I feel bad now, kind of, because I was kind of telling him my story and listening to his, and it was kind of like mine and Matt's show.
No, it was great.
I needed to learn.
I was just learning myself. I mean, that's what we need. You guys have a good go back and forth. I don't need to be involved in everything.
Yeah, and my thing from all the years of fighting and doing dieting and nutrition, a lot of shit that you get people, like I have people ask me for a diet and things like that, and I'll give them an easy diet, like what to do, lose weight, and they turn around like 2 days later and do something totally different, and I'm going, man, I just gave you so. And you listen to people who they really, I mean, I'm not being mean, but people that don't know shit. I mean, even personal trainers who really that shouldn't be personal trainers, to be honest with you. A lot of this shit is a myth. The body is your human body is crazy, okay? And like he was saying, even with just the lifting, how people say, oh, yeah, well, I did arms, biceps yesterday, so,
take your day off.
I'm not going to do it. Yeah, no, it don't matter. As long as you're putting the right things in your body to help out, like if you're eating the right amount of food, you're getting the right proteins.
Yeah, but you're talking about, what about prison food? Because you were saying how,
Yeah, but they're getting,
these guys
they're
are.
working their way up to make double shares, and they're buying on their commissary.
Exactly.
They're buying food, extra food. It's not all prison food.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a lot of food to maintain
they're eating
that amount of weight.
Yeah, they're eating, and I'm sure they could get supplements, and because supplements are legal. It's legal. As long as I'm sure people check what's in them. The staff when they get there.
I've seen prison shows. They have like creatine and protein up against all the shelves.
So they're, but get into that part. But yeah, so they're still eating too. I mean, like it depends on how you're working out. If you're, like he said, he's doing the fitness part now. Yeah, you do. I mean, he's probably not lifting. He's not putting his muscles to the extreme like he is now. When you power lift, because when you power lift, you still do a lot of burnouts too. You're still tearing that muscle out.
Yeah.
So, but you eat because that's all going to, for good.
A lot of like when I boxed too, I had a trainer who always say the most important things are your workout and your rest. Yeah. You rest. That's all your body needs is that rest.
I remember reading about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he said something like the muscle fibers they tear down, and then it's like 24 hours.
And he would rest,
so they would grow back so quickly, like
well,
a half
they
hour.
did because Arnold was juicing.
And the more that you tear those muscle fibers, the bigger you're going to get. That's because more blood expands. Blood is everything in the body. It's what heals. When you get ultrasound,
right.
What that's doing is circulating the blood around. And the new blood, like that's why they tell you to elevate. You take the old blood back when you have a hand problem or foot, and they tell you elevate your leg or your foot. You take the old blood back, and then the new blood comes in. That's what heals. And same thing with lifting. I mean, that blood is going through the muscle, running through your muscles like that. That's why a lot of your pre-workout things are stuff that thins blood. That's why a lot of people take those baby aspirins, which is not really, if you take too many of them, it's not good at all in your liver. Yeah, but one of them, because it thins the blood, it gets the blood pumping, more blood going through the muscles. But yeah, I mean, the theory that people have on working out sometimes is crazy, And me being all the years of being in nutrition, working out, and everything else, I sit back now and I laugh at some of the shit that I used to do. But and I learned a lot of it by the end, but it was too late,
Well, I think and taking fitness advice from like Arnold, who was who was an ambassador for the sport, who was amazing. But all through the 70s of him giving that advice, he was juicing a lot more than that was a big thing for these guys back then. Was
what do you mean by
steroids.
juicing? You mean literally like
steroids?
You're talking.
No, he's not talking about a ninja, and he's going to put some oranges and apples.
Gotcha.
Stanozol and Winnie, they were big into that. So a lot of their stuff was inflated. That was the way they did it back then.
Well, and even now, though, with the technology and that shit they got now with the testosterone, HGH, you don't have to go to the gym and put the 2 hours in, and and eat you can eat fat foods because that burns fat too.
Yeah.
But then there seem to be just a lot of different, totally radically different workout strategies, and they all produce results for different people, or is there just there's one best way and everyone
genetics
should be
are different
it?
for everybody.
Yeah, genetics, and then you also got to look at a very good point. Genetics is probably the main one, but also what a person does, like we were talking about in the show. If a guy sits down all day at a desk and he's not getting much physical work in, And then he goes, he has to watch throughout the day kind of what he eats. He can go lift heavy and do a workout, but he's still not going to have the gains that he wants to have because he's eating all the fat food while he's just sitting around all day. Somebody like Matt, who's on the go and his job consists of doing physical work,
right?
He could afford to do that and actually has to eat big meals and foods that got a lot of calories in them. And also, and it depends too, fitness, they're more of like you want to see every little tiny muscle that's inside of a muscle. You know what I mean? So, like Arnold. Arnold had a strict diet too. I mean, they had to get down, and there was only so much water they could have, so it didn't bloat them. And you could see that, the muscles in his abs or his ab muscles. So his diet was obviously different than what a powerlifter's diet is going to be. So those are so for what you want to do. Bodybuilding is totally different. There has to be a strict diet to that. But powerlifting or just every day if you want to lose weight.
But as a boxer, you want power.
But
you can't build power. It's natural. It's a God gift. You can get stronger, but I don't think you could ever build punching power.
I mean, you're saying to keep to strength.
Versus, bodybuilding where it's like, looks, definition.
Yeah.
But it's not powerlifting where you're trying to lift.
Yeah, boxing you want your strength too.
How is boxing different from definition or power?
We're more concentrated on our twitch muscle fibers.
Okay, so response time.
Yeah, your small muscles. Twitch muscles are your small muscles. But see, you're working those every day in boxing. That's another thing like I was explaining to Matt. For when he's going to compete with the fitness, you're using your small muscles, your twitch muscles. You're using every one of them when you punch. So you're doing that day in, day out in a training camp.
And coordinated together.
Exactly, and you're working that out every day. But the thing is, you fight at a weight class. Okay, so you have to make sure. So when you have to know what you're putting in your body, how much.
Oh, right. You don't want to get too heavy, too strong.
Yeah, because if you're sitting there and you're going home and eating 2 pounds of pasta and 5 meatballs with a loaf of bread, then you're going to have a hard time making weight. If you're fighting at 160 or 147. But you still have to know how much. You got certain carbs. You want to stay away from the starchy carbs, but you need the carbs. You need the meats, the protein. James brought up a good point about processed or frozen foods. When I was fighting, I never ate frozen chicken breast because the MSG that was in it, to keep them fresh longer.
Retain water with the
sodium. And I sweated easy, but you still have to watch.
The farm raised are given crazy antibiotics and things like that that'll help you not drop weight. You know what I mean? Because they're eating steroids and antibiotics with their farm raising that chicken on. So the best way to do it was get it directly.
Oh, you mean you mean factory chicken versus free range?
The factory,
factory
raised chicken.
And that gets into the point of, okay, Caleb, if you came to me and said, "Hey, I want to lose 15 pounds,"
right?
Okay, then say, "But I want to lose it by a month and a half." Well, I would tell you, get chicken breast, and get the frozen chicken breast in the frozen section.
Right.
I would tell you that, if you're if you want eggs in the morning with oatmeal because that's what you want, make sure you pick up the wok a little bit. But the egg yolk, well, they said to eat egg whites.
No,
Caleb,
not much difference.
Go ahead. Those 3 little yolks is not going to make a difference if you're putting in some of that work, the cardio work.
And that fat's good for you for injuries and things like that.
So that's what people don't understand.
They're cutting the corners they don't need to cut, and then they're not doing the big things.
Yeah, if you came to me and said, "Well, I have 1 can of pop or 2 can of pop, cans of pop a day," I'm going to tell you, okay, you really want to lose 5 pounds, in 2 weeks?
Drink water.
Yeah, don't cut the pop out. Right there, you got 40-some grams of sugar and pop. But so that's easy for you. People think they have to do all this shit. So what happens is when people are losing weight and trying to get on a diet, they have to go by that some douche pickle tells them to do, and they got to go on this.
Douche pickle?
I sure did. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. So they go on their thing and they look at it like, oh man, I got to eat corn flakes and I'm going to use soy milk in this, and then I'm going to have tonight at dinner I'm going to eat cabbage soup, and shit like that. Okay. And they get tired of it after a week, like anybody would. You're going to say, fuck this though, I want to put a piece of pizza in me. When you could do the right dieting and you could still have some of the things and you could diet the right way and still have foods that you're not miserable about eating.
Right.
Okay, but there's simple things to lose just for a person to lose 15 pounds or 10 pounds. Just a couple little cutbacks. But now when you get into fighting, and I'm telling you, I'm over here 6'1", 6'2", and I got to make 160 pounds. Okay, well, my dieting and my strict diet's going to get me down to 163 pounds. Okay,
right.
But now I know I'm going to have to go a day and a half of drying out, and not only drying out, it's not like I'm going to lay in my bed and dry out. I still got to get on the treadmill. I still got to hop in the sauna. I'm still going to hit.
I see. You're still working out, but not eating.
So you got to, for the period of time before that happens, while you're in training camp, you got to still have reserve energy in the muscles wherever your body can find it. You're not going to have all of it where no damage is being done to your muscles, but you came down the right way, and you got a day and a half of drying out.
Right.
So it is a little different with boxing and fitness competition, okay? But for the average person who's powerlifting and they want to get strong, yeah, man, eat the steak. Even people who want to lose weight, steak's not a bad thing either. It's a myth on that it takes 16 hours to digest, and it's got this. Trim the fat. Stay away from the A1 sauce, the butter, and everything else on a steak.
The stuff you put on it.
Steak is not bad. It's not a fattening food. If you get a nice cut of meat and you go get some of that Mrs. Dash seasoning and put it on there,
you could eat no salt.
Salt and pepper is good enough.
So that is not hurting you. It's actually good for you. What's bad is when, and I'm a person that does this, I like the fat on the steak. If I'm eating a prime rib, I'm going to gnaw on that. But yeah, so just people get into it too much, especially when they first start getting into workout. And I listen to them talk like, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do this workout because this person said to do it. And I just start shaking my head. I'm laughing. I was talking to a couple of buddies of mine the other day on Easter that said they were going to work out and telling me the ideas, and I'm going, shit. I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger, but I also don't got the time to put it into the gym either. I get there like 3-4 days a week to the gym, but I think I've made very good gains, and I'm staying as strong how I want to for that little bit of time I got. That's because of the workout regimen I'm doing.
Yeah, like what you were saying too. I think a lot of it too is what you do outside the gym. You have guys that go to the gym on time every day. They eat right, but they're not resting their body. They're staying up all night watching TV. They're watching fucking Dexter or Billions or whatever.
Right. Your body makes 5 hours of sleep.
Your body makes its most gains when you sleep.
It does. Rest is very important.
Even in boxing, my cardio got better when I slept, and I woke up the next day. I could feel the difference.
And like blood, rest is the biggest thing. Also, overall health. I mean, your heart. People that don't have the right amount of sleep end up with heart disease. Stress levels raise higher. Your muscles don't have time. They're not recouping the right way. It drops your immune system. Just there's so many bad things about not having a proper rest.
I had a trainer used to bitch. He goes, "What time did you go to bed?" I said 9. He goes, "What time did you get up?" I said 6. He'd get mad. He said, he said, no, you need at least, you're growing, you need at least 10 hours of sleep.
They say, they say 6 to 7 hours is average for an adult, but that's if you're not
working.
Yeah, if you don't care about your physique or, things like that, if you just want to stay healthy or maybe healthy.
As a teenager, he knew I was growing and he wanted more sleep. He knew my body needed that.
Hello?
Lanell?
Yes, Lanell Bellows. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. It's Kelly. We're just actually getting ready to call you. All right, we're going to hop into this, my man.
How you doing, Lanell?
I'm all right, brother. How you doing?
Good. This is James. I'm over here. You're over here on the Punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. How you doing today?
And I'm blessed, man. Happy to be here.
I'm happy you're here. I've been waiting to talk to you for one time since Amy put us in touch. I've heard a lot about you.
Yeah, so what do you got coming up next? Any fights?
Every night here at Sam's Town Casino. We're fighting a 10-round bout. And I'm just excited. I'm ready. It's been about 6-7 months since I've been in the ring, so I'm excited to go out there and perform.
Oh, man, I bet you are. That was the worst when you had them, anything longer than 4 months, before a fight. My thing was always, 2 months was my training camp. That's how long I went. Then after that, I was ready to fight. But But hey, man, you're rested now, so you're excited. How was training camp going so far?
Training camp is actually going beautiful. I've learned a lot more. Like I said, body's rested, after 7 months, and I'm explosive, and I'm just ready to go now.
Yeah, with 7 months, I don't think that's long enough to give you any ring rest or anything. So I think you'll be fine with that.
Oh no ring rest. I mean, I've still been actively boxing. It's born. So I mean, no ring rest. I think it's just more or less a little rest of being up under the lights. But I'm okay.
Yeah, you're hungry.
Definitely starving.
Yeah. So how's training out in Vegas going for you?
Oh, it's actually going good. I mean, the weather's picking up, so it's a little bit hotter.
Yeah.
So it's easy to maintain the weight, but it's going good. I mean, it always goes good. I particularly always get boxing help, and my coaches are on their job, and my whole team, we just decided to go out there and get it done. Vegas treating us good. It's time for us to go out there and show Vegas what we've been working on.
Well, that team of yours has been showing Vegas for a lot of years, so you're in good company.
Yeah, exactly.
So, how's the weight look? How's your weight looking for this fight?
Oh, weight's beautiful. I'm about 7-8 pounds off.
Oh man, you might as well. All you have to do is go take a shit, and you're good at this point.
Exactly.
So, are you from Las Vegas originally, Lanell?
No. I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and I was raised in Southern California.
Okay. Oh, just like me, Southern California.
Oh, okay.
Where are you from in California?
Everywhere. Compton, over in San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
And Cap area. So, I mean,
I don't know what's worse, that desert or Compton.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everybody from Compton moved out to the desert. It seemed like there was a lot of them that did.
Hey, you're under the radar out in that desert. That's why.
Yes and no. Yes and no. The population has changed, so things are a lot different. You run into a lot more city folks in the desert now.
It's true. I lived in L.A. and I lived in Oxnard for a lot of years. So.
Okay.
And you know how we feel about Oxnard when it comes to boxing.
Oh yeah, no, you guys are big fans of boxing. Definitely. I fought a couple of amateur shows out there, and there's a lot of love, a lot of support out there.
Yeah. I mean, it's great talking to you. You have a lot of other things going on. What else do you have going on with you?
Every year, annually, we do the backpack and teddy bear drive at the hospital out here for the children, for our little fighters.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I mean, anything positive, giving back to the community, just showing love to the kids, especially. I'm about that, because oftentimes we don't get a chance to show our little people the love that they deserve. So, I try to not so much pick up slack, but just do my part as far as showing them that they are loved and they appreciate it and they are our future.
Well, you know what? You're exactly right. That little bit of love that you are showing them, it makes a big difference throughout their whole life. Because some of them don't even get that,
Yes, sir.
That's a great opportunity too. When you start off boxing, or at least like when I started off, you never thought that was going to be a part of boxing. Like I was always figured, I'm going to go fight in this amateur tournament. I'm going to win. I'm going to win the national. Then as you start getting older in the amateurs and you get ready to turn pro, then you're like, okay, well, I'm going to win this tournament, so that way I get signed by a big time manager and promoter. Then you turn pro and you're fighting and you're like, I'm going to keep winning. And that's the only thing going on in your mind. I'm going to keep winning so I can get in the rankings. And then once I get in the rankings, I'm going to get into the world title, the position to fight for a world title. But when you get to that position is when all the other shit starts coming along with it, though, that you never even asked for or that you ever thought would be something that happens. And that's when you start getting people coming to you for charity events and meet and greets and things like that.
Sweatshirts, hats.
Yeah, and it is actually a great thing. I mean, there's some bads that come with it, and there's a lot of good that comes with it because now you're in a situation because of your hard work and accomplishments in the ring where you're able to start helping other people and it legitimately start helping people. I mean, it makes a difference, and that's a great feeling too. Not because they're asking you to do it, but because you know that you're putting a smile on somebody's face and you're contributing to society in a very positive way outside of just boxing. you know, and it
Yes,
sneaks up on you when that happens.
Well, it's all about karma. I mean, you do good shit's going to happen to you, you know. And I mean, if you look at Lanell's record, I guess it reflects that the good stuff he is doing, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing to be in this position. Like you said, there's a lot of unexpected things. You never know whose lives is affected because all you thinking is boxing. So now that I'm in a position where I get to see the kids, including my kids and my godchildren, and they look up, it's like, man, I want to make sure I reciprocate the love that they show to them and with others. You know, it's the best position. It's definitely the best position.
I mean, I personally think it's amazing. What do you, another question, what do you think about the light heavyweight division today? I mean, what do you, like, in general, what do you think about it?
We have some explosive fighters in the light heavyweight position. I think it's some room to make some very big fights in the division. Me personally, I stay in the super middleweight class, but you know, it's a lot of great fights that can be made. You know, it's a lot of up and comers and you know, Badu Jack, he vacated and went up to more light heavyweight. So I mean, I definitely feel like there's some possible great fights to be had. Hopefully this year or over the next year or two. Yeah, definitely with Kovalev and everybody else.
Well, that's what I wanted to get into. I mean, are you planning on staying at the 168, or are you looking to make moves? You know, obviously to get the big fights that are out there, or are you just content where you're at right now and kind of just let them come to you?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I'm conscious that growing up is a possibility, but right now, I'm very comfortable at 160. I'm not having a problem making it. I'm a shorter guy, so you know, even though they're still tall in the 168 division, I'm comfortable right now. But you know, as time go on, you know,
hey, Montel Griffin made it work.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, you know, and I think that's the right thing. You know, instead of chasing fights and things like that, you know, you're at that weight, like you said, you're comfortable, you're content being there. Yeah, let them come to you. You keep going in there. Like, you know, James said, and obviously your resume and your record shows, yeah, let them fights open up for you. You know, you be the king at that weight right now. And there's still good fights out there, you know, really good fights out there at that weight class. So I think that's a smart move.
Me and Kelly went to the fights last week over the Lomachenko fight in D.C. Me and Kelly were there last week. We saw some of them Ukrainians. What do you think about those guys?
I mean, they went out there and handled their business. I mean, there's nothing else to say. They're warriors, you know, just like I am. And they went out there and handled their business. The Lomachenko fight, I kind of knew it would be one-sided. I didn't expect the Michael Hunter fight to go the way that it went. But
like how? Did you expect Hunter to win?
Yeah, I did. I did expect him to win, you know, but it didn't go that way. And like I said, that's boxing.
I think Hunter had a great game plan in the beginning, and I think he just got worn down. Mentally, he was worn down. And I don't know about Kelly, but personally, the night before, we saw Mike Hunter and we saw his team. And, you know, you could see in his camp, there was too many people. Do you know what I mean? You could just have too big of an entourage or too big of a group, and they're just pulling at you. You know what I mean? And that whole night, they can see him pulling in different directions. Like, oh, this guy's getting worn out, and he's not even fought yet.
Oh, yeah, well, that's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there could be a lot of things, too, come, you know, fight night. You know, a lot of times in the ring, I just wasn't me on fight night. You know, you can't help that. You know, my thing with that fight, I thought Hunter was doing a really good job in that, and I think he was just a couple small little things away from winning that fight or making it even more competitive. You know, I just think he expended a lot of wasted energy, you know, when he make moves. Yeah, he was still making a miss, but he was using a lot more energy than needed when he could have
put himself in position to counter back.
Yeah, like nervous energy. But I still thought it was a great fight. I mean, he's not that experienced either, you know. And
exactly, that's why I gave him his props, because I mean, it's his first world title fight. You know, they only had 11, 12 fights.
Yeah.
He went out there and he laid it down on the line. And you know, I'm still a Mike Hunter fan. That's
exactly. And he was competitive.
That's not the last time we'll see him for a world title. You know, the guy's going to win a
title. Oh, no. Oh, absolutely not. This is definitely not the last time. And he's going to be successful.
And like I told people too, I said, Olsek, that kid's a heavyweight. That kid can say he's a cruiserweight all day, but that kid came down from about 230 to make weight. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I mean, look how much bigger he was on Fight Night. I mean, that's not an excuse, but I mean, it weighs on you to have just that guy lay on you and beat on you.
Oh yeah, I mean that definitely makes a difference because if he's coming down from that weight, you got to think rehydration the day after the weigh-in. He's still coming to fight 215 pounds.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I told Kelly. I said he's about 215 when he walked in. And I was like,
Oh yeah,
215.
Every bit. If I'm 225, between 225 and 230,
And he was 6'3".
yeah, I would say he was every bit 215,
No,
220.
because we actually had dinner that night with the Lomachenko camp, and Olsik was there. That kid was every bit of 215. He was huge.
Yeah, that's I feel is proud of Mike. But I'm big props to who said he went out there and won. He retained his title, and I mean that's the boxing business, But like you said, this is not the last time we'll see Mike Hunter, and I look forward to it.
Oh yeah, like funny story. Me and Kelly were talking earlier, and we were telling people we were going to interview you, and you have a pretty good fan base. I was, I'm like, wow. Lanell has a fan base going on even here back east, And they were saying, oh, he's on the money team. Ask about Floyd. I said, you know what? And Kelly said the same thing. We're interviewing Lanell, not Floyd. We don't give a shit about Floyd. We're here to talk to Lanell. Hey, this is your interview, not Floyd's. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So,
And I appreciate
we want to show love where it belongs. And, you're doing your thing. And we're proud of you, and you have good support with Amy. I mean, Amy's a good friend of ours, too, and helps us out, so...
Yeah, that's my girl right there.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that woman is like a mom, isn't she?
Yes, definitely. She's a great person.
Yeah, she is.
Definitely great.
But yeah, this is your interview, So we told everybody we don't want to talk about Floyd because we know that you're promoter and all that. But this isn't Floyd's interview. This is Lanell's interview.
Definitely.
Yeah, getting on that real quick, another interesting question. What are you looking at? I know you take one fight at a time, but just speaking future, is there any fights out there right now that you're really looking at or you're interested in?
You know what I mean? Just some of the up-and-coming contenders, because I got a call before I walk. So I mean, we got people that's a little higher ranked up than me. The Caleb Truax and stuff, and that's my boy. But I'm saying, as far as just climbing the ranks. I just want whatever fight's going to put me in position because I want a world title, So whatever gets me in position, I'm not saying no to it. It's all about forward progression. And I know that this business is ugly, and I know that this sport is gruesome. So I mean, I'm willing to do any fight whoever I need to fight to get in position to feed my family and retain the world title.
That's it, man. That's that's the right answer. That's how you do it.
Yep.
Heart of a champ there.
A great attitude too, which is rare to find any day. A lot of people, they want to put the cart before the horse when it comes to boxing. They want the championship. They don't want to put the hard work in.
Yeah.
And obviously, we see a lot of maturity in you where you don't see it that way.
Well, I started in the game late, so I know it's a lot to learn. And I know there's people that's been boxing since they were 7 years old, they're still learning. So why would I think for any reason that I should go before them or that I'm just that ready? No, I would like to, continue to develop. Not too long, though, obviously, because I'm getting older, but I would like to do whatever's positively progressive that gets me to that belt,
You know what else, Lanell? That's how you gain the true boxing fans too. People want to see the best fights made out there. I still like to see them. I mean, believe me, if there was an easy way for me, instead of having to fight guys like Edison Miranda as an eliminator fight, to get the world title fight, it would have been nice. But that's how you build a fan base, and people talk about you and say, man, that guy's, he's got heart and balls. He'll fight this person, he'll fight that person. And, like James mentioned, that's what boxing is lacking a little bit right now. As we see, just for instance, like the Canelo Triple G situation, where the promoters can't come together, the fighters can't come together and make the fight happen. And that's what the fans want to see.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's big to want that. That's what makes the sport great, too.
Well, I think too, with the whole Triple G Danny Jacobs fight, it's going to make it more attractive for Canelo. Thinking Canelo, okay, yeah. Canelo saw some chink in the armor now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Like I said, you never know when it comes to these fighters and promoters and needs and wants, and so sometimes that's what makes the business a lot harder to achieve. Is I won't say they're necessary, but then we would like, because as boxing fans, we just want to see the fight.
Yeah, exactly. Like somebody the other day was I guess they get online. They have these like these dream matchups. Have you seen those on all these boxing pages?
Yes.
And they have this, and they had the other day they had Kelly versus Triple G. Everybody's giving their opinions on it, arguing, cussing each other's moms out, all this crazy shit going on in there. And I was like, you know what? The only winner in this fight would be Kelly's bank account. Let's be honest. That's the main winner in this fight.
I don't like that.
For real.
But isn't that the main winner in that fight?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying. I mean, Kelly, you're a great athlete. I'm saying, but at the end of the day, your bank account will be, whether you whooped his ass or not. Your bank account wins even more than you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's why I would have definitely taken the fight. Besides the fact that I always fought the best. I mean, hell yeah, money talks, bullshit walks.
Exactly, and and I know before long we're going to see you on those dream matchups. It's going to have you versus Marco Rudolph or one of those guys. Like one of those crazy light heavyweights or super middleweights. They're going to have Lanell versus Fernando Vargas at 168. Who would have won?
Yeah. Right. That's true too. That's exactly what happened.
That's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And then it's always going to be that way. I mean, but like I said, you're on to great things and you're doing awesome. And like I said, we're so honored to have you on our show. I mean, we're just starting now, and you're a guy that we want to follow more. We'd love to have you on as a third set of ears if we could.
Absolutely. I thank you guys for having me.
The pleasure is mine.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hey, good luck with all of it too. Keep doing what you're doing. Your mindset seems great. Your work ethic. I mean, right now you got everything going for you, man. You're in the right spot, and you're with a hell of a team. So,
and if we could do anything to help you out in your career or do anything, let us know. We'll be there for you.
Oh, thank you, man. I definitely appreciate it, fellas.
You're welcome.
All right, Lanell. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. Definitely. Good luck with all.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
thank y'all. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
That was Lanell Bellows. He's up and coming super middleweight, 16-2. He fights out of the money team. So if Floyd's going to promote you, he sees something in you.
Exactly.
Floyd's not a stupid man. I mean, he sees something in you, and the guy has a great attitude.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's the biggest thing that I took out of it. He has the right head on his shoulders. He knows the best way to get there. I think when he wins the world title, I think that the biggest thing is the stuff that he talked about before that, how he gives out to the community and for charities and everything else, and by forming that group. He has a great team with him. He works with our good friend, and the best person to be around in that business is with Amy. He has a great promotional team. So, I mean, like he said, too, a big thing. And I realized that I just did it when I was fighting because that was the way to get there. And I didn't fear nobody. You know what I mean? So I took all the hardest fights to get to where I got to. But a lot of guys now don't do that. But when he said, I'm going to fight this guy, fight that guy, this guy's in my way, that guy's in my way, they're the big names in the sport right now. That's where the fans are going to flock to you. That's where people are going to be like, this kid don't dive anybody. He don't duck anybody. He fights the top guys. He fights the best guys. And that's what solidifies your legacy, as a fighter. Because you see a lot of guys now that are great fighters, but because of picking and choosing, they may not, I'm not saying they're not, but they may not have the legacy that some of the other guys did because of who they fought.
Well, you don't know, right? You just don't know what would happen.
Well, boxers are great at playing the illusion game, or boxers and managers are. They will build you up to 32-0, 33-0, and to the average fan, you're like, this is an amazing fucking fighter. This guy's great. And then learned boxing fans or people that are in the know.
Boxing gurus.
They'll go into Box Rec. And they'll look and they'll say, who the fuck this guy fought? I don't know anybody here.
Yeah,
and then you can kind of figured out there. So it's not always the record. There's a lot more to it. There's been great guys that had terrible records that should have been world champions or were.
There's been guys that are going down as James. I know James is going to shoot something out on this one when I say it. There was guys who have great legacies in boxing. Okay, like top, and people still love them to this day. But if you really wanted to stir up some shit.
Right.
Okay, especially with people who are not like big boxing people, like they know, yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard, yeah, this guy, yeah, that guy, I know him. But there's guys out there that supposedly had great careers, who absolutely fought nobody, and when they did, they got their asses whipped. And I think a couple times I kept telling other people to do it because I'm in a situation where I can't because of where I'm located, but. It was like, dude, hey James, pull up box rec on him, and like go down the list. You know,
you're talking about Boom Boom. I hate that motherfucker.
Oh yeah, and by the way, he's going to kick the shit out of James when he sees him.
Boom Boom threatened me to beat me up one time or twice
in the ring.
No, in the street. One time,
the rules are different.
No,
in the street,
I'll tell you the story. I'll tell you because I got a minute or so. Kelly's been my friend for years. We've been friends for years. So if somebody says something about Kelly, I take a personal affront to that. You know, hey, you're talking about my friend, you're talking about me.
Right.
So Ray was talking to somebody, he said, Kelly's a fucking bum, he wrote. And I wrote, fuck you, Ray. You're a piece of shit. And I left it at that. I said, hey, he's a professional athlete. He's used to being called that, right?
Right.
This dude sends me a fucking novel on Facebook telling me how he's going to kick my ass, why he's going to, and he's going to kick my ass in front of my mother. Like old school, like Italian mob talk, right? My mother. Call mother. I'm like, well, okay. So I'm like, you know what? Let me tell you something. I told Ray, I said, straight up. I said, let me tell you something. You're 60 fucking years old. You need to basically sit this play out. And I told him, I'm not a woman. You're not going to push me down a set of fucking stairs.
Oh, that's
so. So what I did was, me being a meme master, I make these memes that basically put people on suicide watch if I want to. You know that crying Jordan meme? You know the crying Jordan? Have you seen that? The Michael Jordan, he's crying?
I haven't seen that.
Well, there's one of Michael Jordan, he's crying. I got a picture of Ray at the Hall of Fame and I put that Michael Jordan head on him crying. Oh, he was mad as hell. So
yeah, I bet.
Yeah, so I think Kelly and him get along better than me and Ray do, but.
Yeah, but just going on, you know, when people think that somebody was that good, and you actually break down it's demoralizing, actually. You know, if you really broke down the opponents and then, like, what happened when they fought. And unfortunately, there was one fight that really made this person, and
Dooku.
Yeah, and he didn't even fight outside of South. I think Ray was the first time he fought outside of South Korea. But, you know, I'm going to leave it at that there. Just, that was a little incident. And you know what? And I shouldn't be like this, but I've been talked about brutally by this person. So I'm being nice here too. You know, I'm not saying anything else. But just not with that situation. I mean, so getting back to it, that is like boxing. You know, when you pick fights, or depending how you want to become, how you want to climb the ladder, you will be recognized. You know, like this guy fought everybody. This guy didn't fight nobody. You know, and especially the boxing degenerates that really follow, like, or diehard fans, they know. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you see that a lot.
But don't you like say you want to get to a place where you can fight a big name and make a name for yourself, and so maybe you're thinking you can take a shortcut by just having a good record, so you can actually get that.
There is no shortcut. There really isn't. I mean, you can take the easy route, but somebody's going to know. Somebody's going to expose you.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if your 31st game, you're 30-0, your 31st game is with a real opponent and you beat them, does it matter that you had 30? Like, okay.
No, what I'm saying about Lanell's mindset, and it's going to tap on what you're asking. What I'm saying about his mindset is he's saying now that he's going to fight these people to get to the top, okay?
Right.
Now, what I'm saying about who you fight, where it comes into play, and you'll find out. He takes these fights now, and he's pretty much not going to have a choice, like James just said, to take these fights if he's going to fight for that world title. All right. Where the situation comes in, who you fight comes into play is after he wins that world title, he does have a pretty big choice. He has a big part in it. Still, the main person is going to be the promoter. Okay, that's good. He's going to tell you who you got to fight, but you will be able to put your 2 cents in, like after you win the world title. Let's fight this guy. Let's fight that guy. He's not as dangerous. Right now he may not take my belts. So after you win the world title is where you got to start making
we're strategic about.
When you're able to call your shots.
You don't want to lose. You don't want to. No.
There's a lot of fighters that what they call their title poachers. They will go to a weight class where there's a belt that's been vacated, and they'll jump into that weight class and fight some dude ranked 18th.
Well, yeah, you could. Yeah, you could do that too. I mean, if you're not a world champ. Yeah,
but Lanell, if he's in a fucked up weight class, I mean. If he goes to 60, the best in that division is Golovkin. 68 or 60 or 75 is Andre Ward, and now 68 is who? It's
the Mexican kid.
The Mexican kid, yeah, Ramirez.
Who's a big guy who can fight. He's not Ramirez is not overly fast at all, but he's big. He's 6'3". He can punch. He
throws hard. And he throws good punches.
He throws good punches. I mean, so he's just a big guy at that weight, and he's in good shape.
So what we're saying is. Lanell, when he wins a world title, or if he wins a world title, there will be no question to what kind of skills this kid has. He's answered them by the people he has to fight in these weight classes.
I see.
There's no title poaching because you go up, there's a great champion. You go below, there's a great champion. Mm-hmm. I mean, so many years. Even the '90s was notorious for title poaching. You remember Riddick Bowe threw his WBC title in the garbage can, and Lennox Lewis would have grabbed it right out of there. He did. He literally grabbed that title out of the garbage can. I'm a champion now. But because he didn't want to fight Lennox, right? Was that it? So, I mean, but like we were talking about, there's guys with terrible records that are great fighters. Freddie Pendleton, I don't know if you remember him.
Oh, yeah, I remember Freddie Pendleton. You can't ask me a question when I'm gulping my coffee.
The dude was like, I know you're a little younger, so...
Oh, Pendleton was good.
Yeah, well, out of Miami. I knew the guy was like, at the time when I saw him, he was like 24 and 17.
Yeah.
But I thought he held the IBF, didn't he?
Yeah, he held the IBF, and he lost to two Royalists. And then you look at a guy like Emmanuel Burton. Guy was just above 500, but he was a fight motherfucker. I mean, he would fight, and he'd make you miss. He had all the skills. But I think a lot of things, Manuel would take fights on short notice, and he went, and he would go to Europe, and he'd go all these places, and he wasn't going to get these decisions. Short of knocking somebody out.
Mm. Yeah, I guess like jet lag and things like that can affect.
Well, not only that, yeah,
the politics
of it. And you're kind of new to the sport. You're really new to the sport. You don't even know the fucking difference between a left hook and a fishing hook. But
to watch them.
You got politics. I mean, it's crazy in the sport of boxing. It's brutal. And yeah, you get managers, promoters that, as we were talking earlier, me and James, that throw you right into the mix of shit. And pretty much what you are, you become a journeyman. You're bait. They throw you in with these guys, and a lot of them will build your record up to like a.
I was put you against one of their other guys and knock you down to make them look better.
They'll put you against. So now they ain't got to pay an outside kid to come in to lose a prospect who's not really a prospect, but his record's padded to have him as a prospect.
You remember they do that shit with racehorses? They would run racehorses in smaller events, build them up. They run the bet really high.
Oh, right.
And then they would pull this actual real horse that could run and just it was the same thing.
So they send you over, and especially, promoters, I don't know how exactly that works when you fight your guy. Usually you're not going to send, you may send you will send a prospect overseas to fight too. But, but that's boxing, and it's always been that way. As it's part of the business. And if you're a journeyman, you kind of know that too going into it. Like, you know that you became a journeyman, because they call you and say, hey, you want to fight in 4 days? Yeah, where? Down in South America, in Brazil, or, somewhere like that. And you say, yeah.
3,000 plus 1,500 for travel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So right then and there, when a promoter or manager calls you and tells you that,
right,
like, that you're a journeyman now. You're bait.
I see.
Because if you're a prospector, you got a promoter, they're not going to call you and tell you, hey, you want to fight this guy in 4 days? I heard you've been in the gym. You want to fight? No. They're going to have you set up and they're going to tell you, hey, you say it's April 5th. They're going to tell you, hey, you know what? June 24th or July 24th, we got you a fight in New Jersey. So you give you the proper amount of time to train. You get video on a guy you're fighting, everything else.
Right.
But so that's when people should know, a fighter should know, like when somebody calls you, a manager calls you and tells you, hey, you want to fight in 3 days? Oh fuck! All right, this is going to be my routine from now on. Yeah. So just let me stay in the gym.
But there are guys who made a hell of a great living as journeymen.
Fuck yeah!
Look at fucking Buck Smith. Remember him?
Yeah,
he had 200 pro fights.
Oh wow!
The fucking guy made over $1 million.
Hell yeah,
in his career, and he never had a winning record.
Yeah, it's called working.
Yeah, a lot of them
every weekend. He would drive that same car to Kansas, to Philadelphia.
A lot of them actually made the best money. They became sparring partners too, because they fought all the top guys when they were journeymen. They fought all these people, as a stepping stone, and they become sparring partners. And for big time fighters, they're sparring partners for it. They're getting paid like $5,000-$6,000 a week. Mm-hmm. Plus, that's not including all their food is paid, per diem is paid for, housing's paid for, flight is paid for. So
medical,
they give them like $800 to $1,000 a week in food.
I'm just thinking
so actually that's like $8,000 a week. 200
fights, you would think that you would get pretty good.
Talent's talent. I mean, you're only going to go.
That's the problem. You're saying you can practice it.
And then you actually, after that many fights, you actually start losing reflexes because you're getting punchy, brain damage. You start losing reflexes, everything else. So your timing,
even guys with a lot of amateur fights, we have that problem. Exactly. A lot of guys amateur fights, we left our fights in the amateur ring. When they get to the pros, there's nothing left. Because they fought too many times in the amateurs. You'll see that with a lot of Cubans.
Yeah, that or they could never get out of the amateur style, and they could never make it as a pro because of that reason.
Do you think there's a certain personality type, a general personality type of the boxer that's maybe like kind of egocentric? Because you have to have enough of an ego to go in there and say, I'm going to beat this guy and I'm going to win. And maybe that same quality makes you more susceptible to a promoter taking advantage of you and saying, oh, I think you're amazing, when they don't. You got
to have some kind of confidence. Stand up for yourself.
And a big thing too, and it's true, is your geographics, cultures. It depends. Every culture is different because of the way you're raised, the way you live. South Americans.
They're not as aggressive when it comes to dealing with people like that,
But actually, they may be. Some of the fighters that you get from a third world country are going to be your mean, rugged,
survivor.
Tough. Yeah, ones that you got to beat with a bat.
But also, when it comes to business, they're not as educated on business matters.
No, that part. I'm just talking about their fighting style. Yeah, but no, you're 100% right on that too. But I'm just saying, it's funny when you really break it down. Your slick boxers are from this area, or United States. The more use more of their athletic ability. Like I said, you're a Mexican type of Central America, South America, almost like third world countries too. They're poor. It's a poor society. Not all of it, so I got to watch. I don't know how to word it, but they're more rugged when they fight. They're more
that's good
blood, guts coming in.
Left hook, head facing,
money. That's money on their table. It's interesting. It really is. That's the great thing about the sport of boxing. And if you watch and you see guys from different places fight, you could really see and break it down.
Look at Mayorga. Look what a big prick he was all those years.
Exactly.
You don't see people coming from the Hamptons, the country club, and they're
don't.
They're not boxing. They're playing polo or whatever.
Not really, but every once in a while there's that one.
Yeah, you'll get one.
What was the kid's name? The middleweight. He was a Jewish kid. You remember we were talking? Dana Rosenblatt.
Yeah, Dana.
He came from money. They kind of fed him to the wolves pretty quick. They got this high ranking. They fought somebody and never heard from him again.
Yeah, very few, do.
Chris Rock says it best. Boxing's evolved from poor people, and he said, it seems like every race that's had it worse are better boxers. He said automatically. He said there's the white fighters that hasn't had it bad. Then the black fighters are better than white fighters. and then Mexicans are better than the black fighters, and Puerto Ricans are better than Mexican fighters. And he said, for every Puerto Rican fighter, there's an American Indian waiting to kick his ass. It's basically what he's saying is the farther down the socioeconomic scale you are, the better fighter. And it's not true, but it was a joke. But it's individual. Right now, the greatest people, pound for pound, the greatest fighter in the world are both Europeans. They say, Lomachenko and
yeah, but Ukraine, that's not really
Eastern Europeans.
Yeah, that's not like a great place to grow up, and
That's
you know what I mean.
well, it has been. It's
no,
very,
Eastern Europeans rough. Eastern Europe's rough, like
That's what I'm
Ukraine,
saying.
Russia,
Yeah.
Siberia. That shit's rough.
That's a rough fucking
But
area.
You're right. But that's what but people don't look at it that way. They look, oh, you're a white fighter. No.
well, Kelly, you grew up in the hood, right? I mean, that's how you feel.
Yeah, but
like survival.
I didn't grow up in the hood though. I wasn't a gangbanger, or I didn't steal. I had my parents stay. I mean, we had food on the table every night.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm not like I live now or how my kids live. My kids, we look forward to every Friday night like we got pizza. That was it Friday. So
Right.
like either Friday, like pizza, tacos. We have something to look for. Shit, my kids like tonight they're probably eating chicken wings and pizza again. Have pizza 3 days a week.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I couldn't do what I do now. But my parents, we had stuff, and it was a rough area. I mean, I was in my street fights once or twice a week.
Oh, well, that's pretty,
There was no going home crying. Like, I had two older brothers. If I came home crying, kind of like the old school thing, like when you got paddled in school, you came home and you got your ass beat even more because you got paddled.
That's what my dad said. If my boy acts up, you give him a whooping and then call me so I can give him a whooping too.
So that was my neighbor. If I came home beat up or crying, I got sent back up and I had to go fight him and then start a fight with their older brother so my brothers could kick the shit out of their older brother. And that actually happened one time. But
What, Ricky?
no, my brother Michael,
Oh, yeah?
and I beat the shit out of the paper boy's little brother.
Yeah.
I'm 7, 8 years old. Okay, I laid it on this kid. So then I go over and I think I'm king shit, right? I'm like, yeah. So I go over and his older brother, would be same age as my brother Michael, is 6 years older than me. I go punch him in the stomach. Man, he catches my hand in midair and throws me on the ground. I go, hey, Michael. Michael comes over and beats the shit out of the kid. And it was kind of ignorant, but it was innocent. Like, when I say innocent, it was nothing really bad. That was my neighborhood. It was tough, rugged, every day you weren't on a computer. You were playing some type of backyard football. You were getting dinged up, black eyes, bloody nose. Yeah, so, I mean, it was a tough area. It's definitely the hood now. And it was then, too, it wasn't the better parts of the neighborhood. But I wasn't, I was a tough kid. So, yeah, I guess, that's how I grew up.
You don't have to be hood to grow up in the hood. You grew up in the hood. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, that's
But you did.
that's a
You
good
grew up in
point.
the hood. But South Youngstown, South Youngstown, for the most part, I've lived all over the hood. Los Angeles, over in California. I've lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I lived in Texas. I lived in the hood. And Youngstown is one of the worst that I can honestly say that, like, holy shit. I mean, I've seen some crazy shit on the south side of Youngstown.
Well, this is sad. And then this is the shit that I'll get into another time in the future on another show about some of the people. But they make T-shirts, and like 92, 93, and 94, per capita, we were like the murder capital. So we have shirts that they make now, and they sell them in local bars and everywhere else. Youngstown, Ohio, murder capital of the country. 3-time defending champs, and it has a big picture of like a AK-47 in the middle.
Yeah.
And if you still pull up Youngstown, it's nothing. I'm not bragging about it. I'm just telling you how it is. If you pull it up, and like per capita, we're still like top 10 most dangerous cities to live in. Matter of fact, the 1 year we were right behind. We're number 2. We're right behind Gary, Indiana, and we beat Compton, California, because Compton is in the same population as we are. So it was in a per capita area. Yeah, but no. I guess, fuck, I did grow up in the hood.
Yeah, so like you're telling me you're fighting a couple times a week. That sounds like
Yeah, but
that
it was
what makes a fighter.
It wasn't a fight to the death. We weren't hitting each other with pocket knives and, guns or anything,
Yeah, but
pistol
nowadays you don't have a choice. That's the way they fight now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now that area that I grew up in is.
You know what I've noticed about young sons? You don't get problems if you don't give a problem. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
you
stick
do.
to myself. I don't say shit. Never
People
had an
talk.
issue so
They
far.
open their mouth. They run people down. They say what they got to say. But like they said though on HBO, it's an area. It's a blue collar area.
Yeah.
I don't know about now. Well, nowhere now and throughout the country. I think as we all see, times have changed everywhere.
Yeah, factories.
Kids
closing down.
kids have it not better in some areas, but more so. I mean, back then we were saying, you go out, you play kickball, you play football, you do this. We didn't have phones we didn't have cell phones when I was a kid. So
Yeah, you weren't
the
playing
gap
games.
in generations. And these kids now, I mean, they don't have the same work ethic, nor did we compared to when my dad grew up.
Right.
People back then in the 50s, 60s, they ate dinner, they went out and they had chicken coops and they killed, they skinned, they cooked, made chicken, homemade chicken, literally homemade. They killed it, gutted it, everything else. Times have changed, and kids now, you see them, they're on the phones, they're playing games, video games, this, that. Our fun was going up to the school and running and playing and backyard fights and whatnot. So,
Exploring.
Yeah.
Like the forest or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, times have changed. Our kids nowadays are
they're soft.
they're soft. I mean, that's the best way to do it. My kids will cry if they get yelled at. I mean, are you serious? I yell, don't even hit you, and you cry.
Yeah.
You know what I would have gained just to get yelled at?
You
not
can't
to
even
hit?
Adrian Peterson anybody anymore.
No, you can't Adrian Peterson anybody. But it's true. Like if I take their phones away, it's like I finished the world. You know what I mean?
Taking a kid's phone away today is equivalent to kids back then getting the paddles, getting their asses whipped, getting lickings.
Well, it's like being addicted to a drug and someone taking it away from you, and you go through withdrawals. I mean, that's the kind of pain it is.
You tell your kid, give me your phone, sit on the couch, don't move, and turn the TV off and have their phone. That is the worst punishment that you could possibly do to somebody, especially if you take it for the night.
Yeah,
The next time-
no more TV for the night
Yeah.
was what they used. My parents said, no more TV, and that's
My kids
no
be
more
like, fuck,
phones.
man, next time I'll take the ass whooping. Today you're listening to The Punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez, and a lot to touch on in the sport of boxing.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about Berto and Porter, the fights this weekend.
After watching the fights, what did you think?
I think you need a helmet when you fight Sean Porter, that's for sure.
After every fight, I go on to the boxing sites and everything else, and of course on Facebook, everybody's got their own opinions of the fight, and people, put them down, and you got people that are fans of them. Listen, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of that fighting style that Porter has, and I'm thinking to myself, well, what if he fights somebody that's good? And then, it hits me in the head. I'm like, shit, he did. You know what I mean? He's that style is tough to fight against. I mean, first of all, because Porter's an athletic kid, and he was a hell of a high school football player. So he's strong, you know what I mean? I'm talking about bull-wise, he'll come in. But he's also quick. He's quick when he does it. He's not super fast with his hands, but he's got quick hands. It frustrates people. It's working for him. He gets in there, he out-muscles them. He's in unbelievable condition, and that's just got to be a hard style to fight.
I agree. I mean, even as an amateur, he fought the same way. From what you would know better than anybody. You sparred with the kid, but what makes him what he was doing was he's mentally wearing his opponent out, not just physically. Paulie Malignaggi said it best when he said he's wearing him out by beating his body. He was taking his hands from him. He took him completely out of the fight. It was crazy.
Listen, even and that's the thing. Getting into that. Again, where I just seen on, we'll tap into that one more time too. I seen something on Facebook, but nobody that we know. It was a boxing group, and I kind of got pissed, reading it. But that's where it taps in. Listen to somebody like Paulie give his opinion. It's true, even if you're a guy like Andre Berto, and you're probably in your head, you're going to go, well, you know what? This kid's throwing punches. He's using a lot of extra energy by pushing me up against the ropes. I'm going to let him tire himself out. When in reality is you're still trying to give yourself some space on that rope. So what you're doing is pushing this strong kid, you know, who has the momentum going towards you. You're spending the time trying to push him off you. You're spending the time to try to get him off you enough to where you can land something. Then when you guys do hold, he's hitting you, you know, still to the body. So no matter which way it is, you're expending a lot of energy and using a lot of muscle. And, you know, and that goes into, I've seen a couple people on the Facebook boxing group, and they were talking about, like, do you think fighters should, people were saying that people shouldn't have an opinion that haven't boxed. And it goes, these people watch it and they know just as much of boxing. I've seen fighters make opinions and, you know, predictions in a fight, and it not happen. And I can concur to that as far as making predictions. I have been wrong probably more than I have been right, but that's the sport of boxing. But you cannot sit there and say that you know more. For instance, just like the stuff that Paulie brought up, and what I just said right now, to breaking it down, what happens in a fight, these guys don't know. They sit on their ass and they don't know. So now to keep going disrespecting people that do know the sport, that have been in there at the championship level, and you're arguing with them on that and putting them down, actually saying you know more. Again, that sounds like a broken record. That's like having a guy sit there and watch Grey's Anatomy every day and going, because he watches it and he has an idea of what they do, he goes there and tells the surgeon, hey, you know what, I won't go close to that artery. I'll go over and cut this part. You know what I mean? Let me do this. Yeah. You know, so it don't make sense. And with that being said, though, you go into that fight and watch Sean Porter, that's hard because he is for that weight class. Now, if you fought somebody who was 2 weight classes higher, obviously weight's different. He's not as big, and that wouldn't work. But when you're fighting guys who are your weight, but you're just naturally stronger than they are, and you're not good a shape to be able to do that and throw a lot of punches around, that is a hard style to fight against if you're a boxer or not.
Well, it makes it hard because Sean Porter actually fought at 165, if you remember. He came down in weight because he was playing football at the time. To piggyback a little bit what you said, I think everybody's entitled to their opinion. It don't mean it's going to be fucking right. You know what I mean?
No,
just because their opinion's right. Yeah,
I agree with you, but when you start putting down you're putting down fighters, like exactly. Saying that, you know, the comments happen to go on in that conversation to like, yeah, why the hell would you want to listen to a fighter?
No.
This, that, you know.
I'm saying fans have opinion; they're right to have an opinion.
Oh, definitely.
But when they start calling out professional athletes who do this day in and day out and start telling them they're stupid or casuals, they're calling a guy who's ranked 7th in the world a casual. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. Yeah. But like it's with all the fights too. Anybody who's fought Porter, they know that's what Porter's done. Porter fights that style. He always has. He probably always will. You're going to get headbutts. But I think the biggest problem was, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, Berto's the stronger guy. Always has been. In most every fight he's been in, he's always been the bigger, stronger, more physical guy. He got in there with Porter, and he didn't have his way with him. And I think when he realized he couldn't have his way, I think he kind of shut down and was resigned to his own fate. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. You know, I definitely agree. You know, like they say, everybody's got a plan until they get hit. Yeah. And I'm sure Berto went in there with the ego, like, I'm a strong fighter. You know, he ain't going to push me back. I ain't going to let him do this. And he got in there, and Sean Porter came in. Porter came in with a punch and hit him with his shoulder and pushed him, and Berto probably felt himself go backwards, like, holy shit, this guy, he's strong. You know what I mean? This is going to be a long night. Mm-hmm. You know, definitely. I mean, and Porter is that way. And
I think Berto's on the end of his career than the beginning. You know what I mean? I really think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, and that happens. People always bring up Hopkins and things. And some people are freaking natures. But in any sport, I mean, you hear, like I said, in baseball, which is nowhere near as demanding on a body as boxing is. Mm. And you see people tell him that, I think he's past his days have passed him by. And the guy's only 35 years old. He's a veteran. He's been playing a long time in the major leagues. So if they are in the major leagues at that age, so Berto's, some people just, bodies are different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And also it depends on the career they had. Some guys are defy odds.
Well, Berto is not Hopkins. Hopkins is a freak of nature. He's 1 in a million that'll do that.
Exactly.
Him and George Foreman about it, right? And then you had Archie Moore and Joe Louis back in the day.
And the thing is, you could be 34, 35. Even, we don't know what Mayweather yet. Mayweather's 40, 41 years old. Mayweather may go into this fight with, probably still win easily, but he could go in this fight with Conor McGregor, and, that day when he gets in the ring, his body's going to tell him, hey, Floyd, you kept yourself in great shape all your career and all your life, but today you're 41 years old.
Well, Abel Sanchez said it best. It's not the mileage, it's the wear on the tires still. You've been in a lot of fights, but look at the quality of fights you've been into. If you haven't taken a lot of damage and you haven't taken a lot of beatings, you still have a little more wear on the tires than most. You have guys like Golovkin, who's 35 years old?
Yeah.
Not a lot of wear on the tires.
Not a late bloomer, but eventually his age is going to catch up at some point.
Lomachenko is almost 30 years old, right?
Yeah.
Not a lot of wear on the tires, but, you know.
Well,
but then you have guys that are 25 years old, and their career's about over.
Exactly. I mean, it's all on the individual in the body. I mean, you could look good, like I keep saying. You could look good. You could be 37 years old, go in a fight and look like a world beater and beat the shit out of somebody. In your next fight, you get in that ring, your body's going to say, hey, tonight we are 37 years old. You know what I mean? Like, this is how you're going to fight tonight. And you could be in training camp, and you could have a great training camp and everything else, but as soon as that fighting night comes and you get in that ring, it's happened to a lot of people. And I think Berto even seen, now I'm not saying he's going to retire, but he gave us some serious thought, which was great to see.
Yeah.
And I'm, to me, I would not be a bit mad if Berto retired.
He made a lot of money.
He made a lot of money. He gave the fans a lot of great fights. He did come to fight. He was exciting. And if he retired, it will kind of be like, man, I'd like to see him fight again. But at the same time, I'm happy for him.
The thing is, if you've ever met Berto, have you?
Yeah, I met him a couple times.
He's a genuinely nice guy.
He is.
I've seen him over at Ten Goose at Ricky's gym. I've talked to him. Just a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a solid dude.
Yeah, and like that fight with Victor Ortiz and him was probably one of the greatest fights I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I don't like Victor Ortiz. Never said I did, but Victor earned that victory that night, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But it's just boxing, just a strange thing, man.
But so with that being said, man, I think it opens it back up. This welterweight division and junior middleweight, super welterweight. Personally, man, I'm excited as shit. I mean, I think things are opening up in this weight class in a weird way. Okay, first of all, you go back to the first Thurman-Sean Porter fight.
Yeah,
it was a very close fight. A great fight. If we see a rematch. Who knows? It's going to be exciting to see what happens in this rematch. Okay, then you bring in the other guys into play. You bring in oh my God, what's his name?
Errol Spence.
Earl Spence. You bring in
Cal
Brook. You
bring in Danny Garcia, who's moving up to 47.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. But Danny, we've seen what happened with Thurman. I don't know if he could compete with them guys.
You know what? I think any punch can change a fight. I think Danny Garcia can compete with any one of them. I think he fought the wrong fight against Thurman.
I do too, but at the same time, I mean, you kind of see. I mean, Danny Garcia is a ballsy, tough fighter, and if you fight Danny Garcia, you got to be prepared 100%, 110%, because he comes to fight. But I just don't think he's on a level with them guys. I'm sorry.
I think
them four guys. I think right behind him, he falls in that weight class.
I think the fight with Sean Porter and Danny Garcia would be a fight of the year because they fight the same way.
They do and they don't. And I think that
they both come to hurt you,
But I just think Porter is too strong. I mean, if Porter was again a fading Berto, but if Porter was able to do that with Berto, I see him doing the same thing with Garcia.
I think Porter's the better. I think Garcia's a better boxer than Porter.
Maybe for that style.
I think he's a better boxer.
But no, Errol Spence
Errol is a different level above all those guys.
Brook, we don't know that. I don't agree until I see what he does in his upcoming fight.
The upside on Errol Spence is bigger than the rest of those guys. I think Errol's going to be the best in that division.
He's got more attention being put on him because everybody has that, or the majority of people have that same feeling you do.
Yeah.
But I mean, so what I'm saying is, I mean, this is a filled weight class that kind of goes back that we haven't seen really in any weight class in a long time.
Not since the 90s.
Yeah, or even go back farther than that.
The 80s and 70s, yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it, okay, now you just tossed in Danny Garcia, But you got Spence, Kell Brook, Thurman, Porter.
And that's just the A side. You haven't got to the B side yet.
You got the prospects that are coming up. You got the guys. I think ain't there one of the Eastern European guys fighting that way right now?
Yeah, there's a couple of them, but they're younger and they're coming up. But like the welterweight division's always been one of the most action-packed divisions.
Yeah, it has.
And Ryan, I'm hoping the middleweight division starts picking up a little bit too.
Yeah, well, there ain't no names right now around that, but
which leads you right into the Charlo brothers.
You could. Well, didn't the one went up to middleweight?
Yeah, he went to 160. Jamal.
Yeah, and getting into that, what did you think about the Charlo or the Jamel fight?
I think Jamel has good power, and I think he has good boxing skills. I think same with the other brother, but I think they have a lot of deficiencies that haven't been picked up by other fighters yet. That's not talented enough to pick them up. When you get another middleweight that's as talented or more, they're going to pick them off and they're going to hurt those guys because sitting there fighting with their chin up in the air, their stance wide, arms down. They're sitting there. The chins sit up there straight and standing like a wedding dick, basically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, never heard it put that way, but
isn't it true?
No, it is.
When a guy has those legs spread that wide, it's they don't want to take a punch. They don't. They want their legs spread so they can move back. They don't want to be.
And they're looking. Yeah, they're relying on their power. They're looking to make that half step, not even a step. Because they got that wide base. And what they're doing is looking to lean back and get out the way, make you miss by a little bit, and load up on that big shot over top.
They're taking power away with that wide stance, though, too.
And they are. I agree with you on them. They're good fighters. Obviously, they're in a position where they are being good. But I agree. I haven't seen anything. I've seen a lot of flaws, and flaws that look like they're going to be hard. They seem like simple, but also that it's going to be hard to get them out of the habit of doing.
A guy like Danny Jacobs or Golovkin would hurt those kids.
Yeah, because I don't see them as I don't think they're that big of a devastating puncher either. They could pop, but
it's the level that they're fighting them.
Exactly. So I guess right now with them, I'm not going to be the one to go. They're never going to make it.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, they're world champs.
Yeah,
but to be considered in the elite part, I think there's still more to see and more fine tuning with them. And then if that weight class ever does get somebody in there, I don't know where they're going to come from, but
Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Well, look what you got there. I mean, geez.
But now see, it's hard to follow because there's so many now.
So many.
How many are at middleweight?
There's 3, I believe. There's 3 right now, but like I said, they're on the fringe of 13-0, 12-0, 10-0. But right now, I think boxing just become exciting. I'm excited from 2 weeks from now with Chavez and Alvarez. That's bigger to me than Alvarez and Mayweather was.
I agree, and a lot of people ain't giving it that. They're saying because Chavez Jr. hasn't fought in so long. Of course, the weight thing comes into play. Like, oh yeah, he's coming at 200 pounds fight night.
He'll be 215. Let's get it right.
Yeah, but that's what's going to make that fight interesting. Okay, now I said this in an interview I just did with somebody. He's going to come in and I see the same thing. I see that being helping him just like it did for Danny Jacobs.
Yeah,
I really do. I see him. He is going to be the bigger man come fight night, a lot bigger, I think. And I think that's going to help him in that kind of fight. That's going to help the ring rust, and that's also going to help him take some of the shots because I think Canelo is going to hit him with a good amount of shots throughout that fight.
Canelo might be one of the best combination punchers in the sport today.
Definitely.
And he's very underrated. People don't talk about that. They don't realize, and Canelo's defense has improved huge over time.
I always thought Canelo had good defense. I always thought Canelo fought kind of like a little bit like me. A lot of people, with my defense, But if you go back watch the fights, I picked a lot of them off. It didn't look like I was getting hit, but they were picked off where I kept my hands. Canelo did the same thing even early in his career. I mean, a lot of the shots look like when you're watching it on TV from the camera view from behind, but he does that quick little turn with his shoulders and makes that quick little move. Canelo's got and has had a good defense.
The problem is
he's quick.
People don't see that. They don't see the little movements. But I think ever since he fought Austin Trout, his head started moving. He started moving his head. Do you remember? When he was trying to invite Trout and Lara in. Do you remember he dropped his hands?
Canelo's he got fast hands too. He really does. That's another one I think that's underrated.
I think he's gonna. I honestly think he's gonna beat Chavez.
I'm not saying he's not, but I think Chavez coming in, being as big as he's going to be, is going to kind of wear eventually throughout the fight on Canelo, maybe. But by the time it does, it might be too late, and I think Canelo may have enough rounds,
Well, the thing is, Canelo's a big kid naturally. He's not small like people think. He's a 180, 190-pound kid between fights himself.
Yeah, it might not be that bad.
He is. He's at 180, 190. He's a big kid that has to kill himself to make weight, too.
So what was all the hoopla about going up to 160 to fight Triple G?
That's another issue. I think a lot of it was not wanting to fight Triple G.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants to put themselves in the deep fryer if they don't have to.
Yeah, especially when you go make, $15 million.
Exactly. And I think a lot of it is negotiations. They both are fighting who's going to be the A side. Canelo's that way. He always has to be the A side. And I think Triple G wanted to be the A side. I think it was a lot of that. And, it's a lot of his ego involved with that. I don't think it was them being scared of each other.
Well, and I go on that might have a lot to do with the promoters, too, though, I think more so than anybody.
Of course.
I mean, when Oscar priced that fight out, what was it, 90-10? I think he said.
Yeah.
I mean, what De La Hoya was doing was pricing that fight out of reality.
Exactly.
Of it ever happening.
Well, look what he did when he fought Trinidad. He almost priced that fight out of reality, too. Yeah. And then it came to bite him in the ass. When he fought Trinidad, and he got robbed in that. I think he got robbed in that fight. Yeah. But that was because.
Oh, he definitely got robbed in that.
But that was the bullshit that he was pulling. It finally came to bite him in the ass.
Yeah.
What do you want? What was it? 12 million to Trinidad's 7. All
right, around about that. But yeah, so I mean, I see a lot of big, like you said, a lot of big things coming up in the sport. I am. I mean, like boxing, believe it or not, is getting big in certain weight classes. Are bringing that through, and I think starting with welterweight, is the big one.
Yeah, I want to talk about our format change a little bit. That somebody wanted us to talk boxing like for 3 hours straight and nothing else. We're supposed to re-harp on this whole boxing thing over and over and over again because that's what somebody wants to do. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know how much to go into detail. I don't want to give the attention of some people.
Well, we had another radio station kind of come at us sideways because of one of our Kumbas on Facebook.
Yeah.
Who kind of started, and now you touch into that.
Well, I guess he heard one show of ours, and he heard one show only, and he said, well, I don't like your show. I'm not going to listen to it anymore because you guys are talking about other things besides boxing, like ghost stories and relationships. I said, okay, well, that's fine. And I left it at that. That's what, I'm not going to argue with somebody on their opinion. It's pretty stupid to do that. Anyway, he tags me into another radio show. And he says, this is how you're supposed to run a radio show, guys. And they don't even have the sponsorship or the money you have. And I was like, whoa, wait here, motherfucker. Straight up, you don't do that shit. And then anywhere the guy on the radio show, fucking piece of shit, started talking shit about the show and everything else. And it went back and forth and it got ugly, but I think, I don't know, I think we got past it a little bit. What do you think?
You know what? First of all, my big bitch about it is he's been close friends with us on social media for a while.
About 5 years.
Okay, now, a good friend would go on Facebook, probably, or just call me on the phone.
Yeah.
But if it was on social media, just say we were friends on social media on Facebook for years. He would inbox me a message and be like, dude, listen, I liked the first show, but then it started getting kind of like this, that, not like it. That's what, we want to take criticism or somebody's opinion on how it's going. So make that private and message us. Don't because you were feeling pretty good that night.
And he made friends with another. He made friends with other people.
He was feeling pretty good, and he had loose fingertips. So he gets on there and he starts shit. My thing is about it. We talk a lot of boxing. We have some shows that are dedicated. The entire show, the entire 3 fucking hours of the show is boxing, and I love it. And then we touch on other subjects, with there still being boxing involved in it too. Okay, so like almost every episode.
Well, look at the fucking guests we've had. We've had some of the best, the biggest guests in boxing that other shows don't even have yet.
And we're going to have them back on again because of the former other producer we had screwed that all up. But we had the shows out there, and we're going to have them on again. But getting into that, so my thing is this: we talked about the Lomachenko fight. Okay, today we touched on a good amount of boxing, okay? So you're saying next week when we come in the studio, we're going to sit there and harp on the fucking Charlo fight and Sean Porter Berto fight and beat a dead horse in the head again?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, how many times did you go to sleep at night and say, like, 11 o'clock at night, you put on ESPN? Okay, see what's happening on Sports Center, and you wake up at 2 in the morning.
It's still the same story.
Same fucking episode. You wake up at 6 in the morning, same episode. Eventually, even me, as tired as I fucking am, I take that controller and I flip it on a fucking CNN or Fox News or something because you're tired of hearing the same shit over and over and over.
I'm tired of hearing about Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
We want to have a little bit of fun, you know. Some people will laugh. Some people may say it's the stupidest shit they ever heard. That's part of the radio, and that's the chance you take.
Yeah, of course.
But to sit there and tell us, you know, we had a guest we mentioned about maybe having like LeBron on or people like that. Okay,
that same dude lost his shit about having LeBron James on here.
And not saying we're going to. Now, LeBron James is a big boxing fan. Okay,
He's better.
so why would you not want to hear somebody like a LeBron James talk boxing, a sport that we love and that we talk about? You know, that LeBron wasn't good enough for these people, okay? That was like, why would you have, you know, like, you really want a boxing fan to come on there and listen to LeBron James?
Well,
like
the fucking irony is the guys that are running that show, neither one of them have boxed.
They haven't.
One of them weighs 500 fucking pounds, and the other one isn't worth a shit. And they don't have anybody on their show.
And they got the little fucking midget running around talking shit as their little, what do you call it, their PR man?
They're hype man.
Yeah, they're hype man.
They're Flava Flav.
So, I mean, yeah, and it was, so that did piss me off. I stayed out of it, kind of. I put a couple comments in here and there.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't want to go back and forth, but it was just, you know, it was no taste. It was tasteless, you know, what they did. And again, you know, our show, hey, we're doing it how we want to do it. We've already said that's why we have Punchline with Kelly Pavlik, James Dominguez, and then we have the Punchline with Kelly Pavlik, James Dominguez after the bell. And we may change that up a couple times. It's our fucking show. You know what I mean? We could call it anything we want.
Yeah, we could call it two dumbasses sitting on a bench talking stupid shit while eating pizza rolls.
Yeah, so I mean, like, I'd rather listen. James Dominguez had a stellar amateur career. Numerous titles in amateurs, okay? Shitload of fights. Obviously, I ain't got to explain what I did. Maybe a lot of people may not like us and probably won't listen to the fucking show, but you're going to get a lot of people out of curiosity that are going to want to hear the opinion, okay? So now you're going to sit there and have the audacity to bust our balls about what we're talking about, but you think that certain people are going to want to listen to that fucking show where you got two guys, one guy looked like he never even got up and walked more than 10 steps, let alone got into a boxing gym and trained, and then you got another guy who knows absolutely nothing about boxing.
He was a huge bitch.
And that's where it wouldn't have been so bad if it came from like Oscar De La Hoya and
oh no, that would have stung. That would have stung.
Joe
Calzaghe. Yeah.
Then we would have been like, you know what, man? Hey James, we might want to take 2 weeks off and quit, or like come up with some new game plan.
Yeah, we might want to take a knee and sit this one out and regroup. But these came from guys, you know, and then we come to find out the guy only ever listened to one show. He never listened to any other show, and he was giving it. What he was doing was he was drunk, and he was just trying to start shit. He even admitted that he was just trying to cause trouble. Yeah. And then he said, I said, look, and I'm probably wrong for this. I said, look, he wanted to bring family issues in, right? And I was like, look, man, I know you're going to be at the fight. It's probably not the best idea, knowing I'm from California, for you to be talking shit and being at the fight. He said, well, do what you got to do. I'm like, fair enough. I don't think he'll be talking shit anymore.
Yeah.
I think he got checked a little bit, because news travels faster than an airplane does.
That's a given.
But you know, other than that, when we started this show, Kelly, me and you sat and talked. I don't know, maybe a month before we even thought about before we were going to start the show, and we were talking about a direction. We were at Kelly's house. We were watching. What fight was that? We were watching.
Fuck, a lot of fights.
I know, but it was actually no, it was my house. We were watching Kovalev and Ward.
Oh yeah, Andre Ward.
And I said, you know, Kelly, we should do a show of our own, because everybody's saying, hey, you guys are funny, you guys should do your own show. I was like, you know, Kelly, if we do a show, I want it to where it's like two guys just hanging out, sitting on a couch, just bullshitting about everything, you know, like boxing, life, pussy, whatever we want to talk about, we can just talk about, you know, really. And all of our friends can come and join in and talk too, you know. There's no people judging you. There's nothing.
Yeah, because you kind of want to keep the reputation you got in a way. whether somebody think it's an asshole or funny comedian. We were real big with the memes. So a lot of people were kind of want to like touch into that though. You know, a lot of people I probably didn't like my boxing career, probably don't like me, but they probably got a chuckle at least once a day when I was putting out like 20 memes. And I don't care how much you dislike somebody.
Hey, I started doing that again.
There's a handful of people I kept friends on my Facebook that I'm not a big fan of, but they have a meme up. I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at the meme. I get a chuckle out of it.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of people like that. We're not going out of our way trying to do something how we're not. We're just naturally going about the show, and if there's topics that we want to touch on, we meet somebody. It could be anybody. And say, hey, you want to come on the show? I think that'll be funny, interesting. That's the route we're going. But we're not losing touch with the boxing either, though. We stick to the boxing. Eventually, what we're going to do is have the emails up where people could send emails in with questions about what they think's going on in the sport, what they think about my career, if they want to. If they have questions, I will answer them, but I like to talk about the boxing now.
Well, I want to also talk about the website's up. The website will be up.
Yes.
Which is huge. We have a huge website and the merchandise and all those things that you could get. Or even put your comments on the website, which is huge. But we're also bringing phones in where we can do you can call in and we can ask questions that way. We'll give out Kelly's personal number to everybody so you can call in.
I'll change it. I'll just give him James's address.
That's fine. I need all the company I can get. But yeah, I mean, I like the direction the show is going in, and I don't want to change the format for anybody. I really don't.
I don't.
I mean, I'm always up to opinions and asking what we can do to make the show better, but to just knock something because you have a personal issue with me or you.
Yep.
That's what it was. It came down to a personal issue.
With you,
With
not
me. No, with me, because he didn't like being roasted, but he would start roast, he'd get roasted back, and his feelings get hurt, and then he sat and stewed on that butt hurtness for like a year and waited for an opportunity.
Yeah, he sure did, man. He stirred up a lot of shit that he didn't want.
No, he did. He did. And now,
like the old saying, shit don't stink till you stir it.
Exactly.
You know, he got a little more than what he wanted. You're listening to the Punchline with Kelly Pavlik and James Dominguez. Well, homie, home slice, Vato, Paisan,
I think we have a great show today.
I do too. You know, you go back to each one. Anthony, for me, well, that was great to be able to talk to somebody like that. The questions I had, again, you know, for me, not being a military person or anything like that, to find out, you know, I knew that there was some other things to it, you know, as being a sniper that's involved. I mean, you have to be just smart in every aspect.
Right. It's really demanding.
You know, people think it's you're looking through a scope and you're firing. You have to go through some of the nastiest places and not be seen. You got to be stealth. You know, you got to stay awake. You got to wait for that moment. You can't take 1 second away or one turn of the head in case you miss what you're there for.
I've heard stories they piss and shit themselves. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
there's just so much behind it than what you see. You know,
they can't move.
There's an athleticism there that you wouldn't think of. Some
These guys are trained like Olympic athletes.
Yeah, definitely.
This sniper we were talking to, he's built like an Olympic athlete.
Yeah, it's just amazing to listen to and you know, the questions that he answered and some of the things that, you know, I still didn't even know. You know, so it was definitely interesting.
I did 18 years in the Army. I didn't know some of those things. I had no idea. You know, you look at what they show you on TV and you think, well, okay, you point the scope at something and blow it up, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But, I mean, it really hits home, like, how hard these guys work. And it's amazing. And we just got to talk to Lanell Bellows, too, which was amazing.
Lanell, yeah, you know, there's a lot of things I liked hearing from that young fighter. Well, I say young fighter, you know, he's not many fights right now. His career's pretty young. But, you know, a lot of things he said that I liked. You know, I like the mindset that he has right now in his career. And he seems hungry. You know, I think he's on the right path.
He's humble,
and obviously, the team that he's got, you know, Amy, who we love and we work with. And then, of course, you know, he's with team as promoters, Team Money Mayweather. Or Team Money. So, I mean, he got a lot of things going in the right direction for him.
And I think him being humble is a huge thing too. A lot of times when you have those kind of things going for you, you can get out of your head a little bit, you know, you have to be brought back to earth, but he don't seem to have that issue.
He reaches out to the community, you know, for a lot of good causes. And that's really, really good to see, especially in that sport.
That's a sign of like long-term sustainability.
Exactly.
When you see that.
Exactly.
And a big heart, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times you ain't got to do that, you know, or you could have other people do it for you. You know, he's really big about promoting that and, you know, being involved in it himself. And that's really good to see.
Yeah. Also, we had Matt Godfrey on.
Yeah, I enjoyed Matt Godfrey, man. As any, as all of our guests, but
Yeah.
it was more of a personal thing because of what I'm doing. You know, it's kind of the same field. And, you know, so I kind of like took over and actually, believe it or not, I fucking talked more than James. That's impossible.
That's true. But you know what? That's good that you took over, and that's your interest. You know,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
So, yeah, and a lot of things, you know, like I was feeding to him. Some of the questions I was asking him was kind of for my own personal keepsake, you know. So,
For your own memory bank.
yep.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, this is why we bring people on the show. This show is, we can do whatever we want. It's our show.
That's damn fucking right.
It is. You know, and that's what I think when we made this show. I think that was the point.
I think
was
we
for
got
us to sit down and talk about whatever we want.
I think we got the right or the wrong producer. Because every time we say the F word or,
He gets all.
and we're not saying that like purposely, he gets all red.
He keeps thinking of the FCC going to get us.
He keeps blushing, and it's like,
Blushing.
dude, Caleb, this is YouTube, man.
We say fuck shit.
Yeah, titty bitch.
Yeah, but no.
Look at him. He's fucking red. Hey, hold on. I'm gonna put this on. I'm gonna video him right now.
Turning red. Wait till you see what we have planned for next week. I'm trying to bring strippers on.
Oh yeah,
One of us are getting divorced.
yeah. Which one?
Probably me. I'm already on. What's that called?
You're already fucking divorced.
No.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. I'm right on the. What's that called? I got the separation.
nice?
The separation going, but I think that'll push it over the edge. You know what I mean?
I don't know what the laws are in Ohio, but you know that.
You
could
don't
be bad
fucking listen
for
to
your
the show, anyways.
Yeah.
How do I know?
That'd be the first time. The one episode she does
documentation
listen
of
to.
your behavior.
She'll find
Alimony. Is there alimony in Ohio?
Yeah.
She'll
Yeah,
find out.
there you go.
It'll be
She
like
makes good money. Hopefully.
90 shows from now. There'll be like 200 shows on fucking YouTube.
And she'll find the one.
Yeah, and she'll click exactly on the one that fucking had that.
I think that's, I just recognize whatever we say is going to be there forever.
But you know the thing is, women are always fucking curious. They're gonna fucking click. She might say she's not watching, she's listening to the show. They do. Because my first wife, we have no friends in common on Facebook, nothing.
No
right?
overlap.
Nothing. And she goes, "Oh, I see you like to put me on Facebook." I'm like, "Oh, you're looking at my page now?" You know what I mean? How the fuck? So they're looking. They don't want to tell you, they look.
And you said everything is going to be on forever.
Yep.
Right?
Like a time capsule.
That's why everything I say, I have quotation marks up. Right?
Well, I know.
That counts, don't it?
I notice you. I mean, you're aware that people are going to say, give you.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Criticism.
Yeah, they always have, and that's my thing, though. You know
what?
It's my turn, but
Yeah.
But the thing is, I use the quotations every time I say it. Right? That counts, don't it?
Count. It does.
I'd rather say quotation.
We do the show for people who want to listen to it. If they don't like it, turn the fucking show off.
Start your own show.
Go listen to fucking Oprah, or go listen to one of these other networks where they'll kiss your ass.
That is funny. I'm not talking about our listeners at all.
We are.
But people get on the Facebook. People get mad about the memes. Like, oh my god, that's horrible. I can't believe you post that. These are the same people out cheating on their husband or wife and, stealing, robbing, or just don't work and are degenerates and steal from other people. Those are the people that get offended too, though. Them are the ones that, are not churchgoers and those are the ones that get offended by it. And the one person I know personally, one time trolled on my one of my memes. And it wasn't really that bad of a meme, okay?
Yeah.
And I had to inbox him a message. I go, you motherfucker. I go, you're going to put that shit on, make that comment on my post where other people can see it about how bad it is and my lack of taste and humor. And I know all this shit about you. All this shit. That took some balls. And I was the better person because I was like really, really close to putting his shit on blast.
Well,
and that goes for a lot of people, especially like big people in this area are just all over. The shit that I got on people, you know?
Well, the thing is, too, we have a good friend, me and him, one of our best friends, both of our best friends. I'm not going to say who, but he likes to do that. He'll post some religious, uplifting, stay positive scripture, and get all these women going, "Oh, you're the best. We love you. You're just such a gentleman." And then he gets on the secret page and he talks more shit than we do, right? Mm-hmm. Well, Kelly get tired of this shit, and me and him get tired. So you know what? Let's bust this fucker out. Oh, man. So we posted both his religious uplifting shit, and we posted his underground meme where it talked about and put them together on Facebook.
He was pissed.
He was pissed.
Oh, he was pissed about that.
But you know what? You got to keep it real, man. Either you're a piece of shit or you're not. You know what I mean?
Well, you ain't got to be a piece of shit. I mean,
you're just being authentic.
No, being yourself. I mean, it's funny.
I'm a piece of shit.
Listen, how many people sit around, right? And especially guys sit around and say some things when they're just with their friends or drinking or whatever they're doing at a bar, and some of the shit that comes out their mouth, okay, and and they laugh about it. I mean, they can't breathe. Their shit's coming out their nose, their mouth. They're laughing so hard. Those are some cruel, horrible things. And it'll be the same type people though when they get on their Facebook. But oh my God, you put that. That is what? Jeez. Oh my goodness.
You know what? We leave it all out in the field. You know what I mean? And then when we get home at night, we don't have that.
Oh, you're not taking it to bed with you. No, it's not coming up in your dreams.
The memes that I do put out there. Imagine the memes that I have saved that I don't have the balls to put out there.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? I have some memes. Actually, I have some memes that might get me arrested.
Yeah. Oh. And that's the thing too. Like I'm going, you're getting mad about that. Like I really went through and thought about some of these ones that I posted. It took me like a half hour, 45 minutes to post it. I had how many times I text James and Roger, and I'm like, "Hey, dude, is this postable? I mean, do you think I should put?" Because of it was a horrible meme.
Yeah, but you shouldn't ask my opinion whether it's postable because I'll let everything.
I know.
Yeah, you're good, man.
I know. Yeah, go ahead. After the shit you post, that's right. I mean, I should get my head checked.
James will be our new censor.
Yeah, but I'll get like 9 or 10 opinions.
You're talking about dead kids? Let it go.
From like people that have different types of humor,
right.
Like I'll ask them like, "Hey, what do you think about this one? Is this kind of like a little over the top?" And believe me, I mean, if people wouldn't get offended, again, I had to tell myself like, "Really, man, it's a meme." Like, first of all, 90 or 80% of them I don't make. Now the ones I make, I'm gonna post. Yeah, I'm getting them there. It's a meme. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not out at a rally.
Stevie Wonder one you made was fucking awesome. The John Cena and Stevie Wonder one was great.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm not out at like a freaking charity event going, saying one of the jokes that's on a meme. You know what I mean? Or showing it on a projector screen. You know what I mean? It's on my social media.
I see. You feel like it's not. You feel it's not like public.
Yeah. Then it comes into play like, oh well, my kid's on there. How old's your kid? 14.
What are they doing on Facebook?
What the fuck they doing on Facebook?
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, I think a lot of the memes it's an outlet. It's something funny, and you're sharing with just people, and it's funny, and you don't know how many people say. That makes my day. I get up every day. I've heard people say, I get up every morning.
Every morning, have a cup of coffee.
And watch your memes, and it makes my day good.
Swear to God on that, too. I've got people, oh, man, that's just a little over edge. I've had police officers, attorneys, people say like the first thing, and they won't comment or like it now. They come straight out and tell me.
Oh, Dr. Rodney will. Dr. Rodney gives 0 fucks. He's like, I love that.
Yeah. But they won't comment, they won't like or anything else because they don't want to be associated with it. Yeah. But they tell me like, dude, like for a while there, I've been actually taming my memes down and my posts.
We both have.
And they're like, dude, like, man, you ain't been on there much. He's like, I got nothing. My mornings are getting boring. He's like, I wake up and there ain't no Kelly Pavlik meme. I'm like, man, I gotta watch. People are too sensitive.
Well, the pendulum is swung towards being more sensitive and more aware, and people don't want to offend anyone. And the phrase "politically correct" is commonly used, and I think it creates like a vacuum on the other side where people feel like they're being oppressed and they just want to release. And what you're doing is you're speaking a voice they feel they can't speak for themselves.
Well, listen.
Now there's a limit to the memes too. I mean, we just don't put out there any ignorant shit we can put out there. There's limits. I won't put on abused children or abused animals or anything fucked up. I mean, everybody has this limit they won't cross, and I think we both have that too. We're not going to put someone,
My thing is this, okay? I'm going to be very blunt on this.
Go ahead.
If you're fucking pissed off, even if it's a vulgar meme, and
Right.
you're pissed off about a fucking meme that is made by somebody who's probably been passed on through 500 or 600 other people, minimum, okay? And then you're bitching if you're taking the time on Facebook to bitch about that.
Right.
You see the shit that's going on in the world today. You just seen right by here in Cleveland the horrible shit that happens. That guy didn't go blow that old man's brains out. A meme didn't do it. He wasn't pissed off about a meme that he fucking read.
yeah, it's true.
Okay? Like there's shit going on in the world today that has nothing to do with that. Okay, that is not causing people's death. There's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of shit that these people going on in these people's lives that are pissed off about this meme that was made up and passed on through thousands of other people. Okay, so if you got the time in the day to sit there and go, that just rubbed me the wrong way. I'm totally pissed off and Jesus, what's wrong with you? It's like, man, you got to check your priorities and get your life in the right fucking place.
It's true.
I don't have to. Hey, listen, and I will say it, I've done pretty damn good for myself, and no matter what shit people got to say, I do good for myself now, this, that. So,
And then you're good. Not to mention you're good to other people.
Exactly.
You help
And
other
I'm
people
not, I don't go on, one thing you'll notice on my Facebook, I don't troll on nobody's shit.
Well, I do.
Okay, well, you might, but I don't. I don't downgrade anybody because of what they post or what they put.
I do.
If I had a problem with somebody, I may, but I don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I put my meme up.
Your memes aren't personal. They're not personal attacks.
They're professional.
They're not. They're put up for people because I get a shitload of people that laugh, that actually message me and tell me they love my memes.
Well, Kelly, being who you are, you could post a piece of shit and they'll tell you they love you.
Exactly. But
You know what I mean?
And everybody has everybody has their right to what they want to put on their
Exactly.
social media. But me personally, I can't stand when I see somebody get on and they put all their personal shit out there too. Like, oh, well, man, I came home. My ex-husband was fucking this girl, or my wife was in bed with this person. And they put all that, or then you get the ones like, I was stuck in line at Walmart for like 4 hours, and this person in front of me, she had grease pouring out the back of her hair, and she had poop stains on the back of her. Like, who gives a shit?
You know which ones infuriate me? The ones that go, worst day ever, don't want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Why the fuck did you post it if you don't want to talk about it?
I just had a buddy put one like, I'm done with Facebook.
Bye.
I've done like all these stupid people on there. I messaged them back. I go, so like you took the time to go on Facebook.
Everybody know you're
I'm not talking to you anymore. Do you hear me?
Yeah,
no more. I'm not talking to you anymore.
Yeah, you took the fucking time to go on Facebook that you hate so much and let people know that you're fucking done with Facebook.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, really.
I've been finding myself doing a lot, and I didn't do it before.